And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Hallelujah. Yahweh, we told you for just being the great I am, being the great one over Israel, for looking over us every step of the way, for bringing us through another week, for protecting us from all hurt, harm, and danger, protecting us from diseases, illnesses, sicknesses, viruses. Yahweh, protecting us from wicked men. Yahweh, continue to protect us along this journey to salvation. And Yahweh, continue to heal our vessels, whatever we may be going through. The body and the mind, whatever, Yahweh, that we need. We need your healing. We need you, Yahweh. So rejuvenate these vessels each and every day that we live, every day that we breathe your breath. Have us to continue to cry out to you, continue to lift up our voices and give you all the praise that you well deserve. Yahweh, have your Ruach HaKodesh to reign in our vessels, to take over and allow us to do all that is right before you. Yahweh, don't allow any amount of wickedness and evil to come into our vessels and take over. Don't allow Shaitan to be able to come into our vessels to take over. But Yahweh, we want you and your son to dwell within us, to be that light within us, to be able to walk this way of life, to show the world, the whole world, how to live in this way, how to live to be able to receive salvation. And Yahweh, continue to have us to be examples in this earth unto all that may be seeking you, to show everyone that this is the only way that leads to salvation. And Yahweh, continue to raise us up to the mark that you want us to be at, and to have us to be there for one another, to look out for one another, and to be there for you every step of the way and never turn our backs. Help us, Yahweh, to not be stubborn or stiff-necked, but to be upright before you, to be righteous before you, and always rely solely on you and never, ever give up. Because Yahweh, we know you will never give up on your people. We told you for being there for us. We told you for being there for us through these last days. And Yahweh, be there for us to the end of our days. And Yahweh, have everything that we do in this lifetime be upright before you. Have everything we do in this lifetime be acceptable to you, so we may be able to walk into your almighty kingdom and just know that we did all we could in this lifetime to make it to see you and your son, Yahshua HaMashiach, and to be able to dwell in Shalom forever and ever. In Yahshua HaMashiach's name we pray. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. House of Israel, you may be seated. Shabbat Shalom, House of Israel. And I say Shabbat Shalom, all that are tuning in on the live stream. Today I want to read from the book of Psalms or Tehillim. This is Psalms 92. Psalms 92 says, "It is tough to give Todah to Yahweh and sing praises to your name, O Most High, to declare your loving kindness in the morning and your faithfulness every night, on an instrument of 10 strings, on the lute and on the harp with harmonious sound. For you, Yahweh, have made me glad through your work. I will triumph in the works of your hands. O Yahweh, how great are your works! Your thoughts are very deep. A senseless man does not know, nor does a fool understand this. When the wicked spring up like grass, and when all the workers of iniquity flourish, it is that they may be destroyed forever. But you, Yahweh, are on high forevermore. For behold, your enemies, O Yahweh, for behold, your enemies shall perish. All the workers of iniquity shall be scattered. But my horn you have exalted like a wild ox. I have been anointed with fresh oil. My eye also has seen my desire on my enemies. My ears hear my desire on the wicked who rise up against me. The righteous shall flourish like a palm tree. He shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon. Those who are planted in the house of Yahweh shall flourish in the courts of Abba. They shall still bear fruit in old age. They shall be fresh and flourishing to declare that Yahweh is upright. He is my rock, and there is no unrighteousness in him. Hallelujah. I'm so glad you serve someone that is so faithful, so loving, so merciful, so understanding, like great I am, Yahweh. You serve, like the elder said earlier, you know him, and he is on your side, Israel. So that should get us to evermore to continue to follow Yahweh and do his will. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. At this time, I'd like to turn the service over to Zakim Dawid behind Senior. By giving Yahweh the highest form of praise by saying, Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Shabbat Shalom, Yisrael. Praise Almighty Yahweh. Give all praise unto his Son, Yahshua HaMashiach, our Redeemer. I do say that word with great joy, our Redeemer. We live in the last days of the Gentile age of rule. And I can look out and truly say that even within the short span of my lifetime, I do thank Yahweh for being alive to at least see the momentum toward that redemptive process. Too many times, if you listen to our people speak on a day-by-day basis, they really have no hope nor strong sense of understanding the events that take place in the earthly sense. Neither do they understand the deeper things that are taking place on a spiritual level. Yahweh's word is just so profound in the way that it's so far-reaching that it touches us in every facet, every aspect of life. I don't care what it is, told Yah, my precious eye. I don't care what it is that we as a people go through. The word of Yahweh touches upon that. I was reflecting back earlier in the week, something that almost makes no sense. I remember years ago I heard a young woman tell her, as you would say in the street, tell her baby daddy, you're so stupid, you're just stupid. And I remember looking at the young man as I tried to understand how sometimes as men don't understand when a woman loses respect for you. That's something, man. Bad example, but it came to mind. Let's spit it out. R. Kelly told you when a woman's fed up, there ain't nothing you can do about it. And it is a shame when an R&B singer plagued with what the world would describe, what Torah describes, what we all see and know and understand as sexual immoralities, improprieties, or whatever, but could actually tell us that. That's serious. But what really hits us all the more, I was reflecting early in the week. I was taking the second part of a class I had to be involved with, and I was listening, and one of the greatest delights I got out of it was being able to simply humble myself, to sit under someone and to have them teach me something, regardless of what I thought I knew about the subject matter. The delight was being humble to learn. And when you do that, you learn even more. Sometimes you can add to what you think you already know. Sometimes they can even give greater clarity and show you how much you really didn't know. But I watched a couple of people. I watched the teacher make what you would say, a snide remark. And you had to be of a specific age group to catch his sense of humor. Some of it was coy. Some of it was a bit low-key, outlandish. Some of it was a bit inappropriate gender-wise, as people would say today. And then some of it was even age grouping. You had to catch it. But I watched as three young men, three white males, they were addicted to drugs or whatever. They were high every day. He was high. And he didn't like them. But it was a joy to see him go at them. Because he did something so unique. And we'll get back to this sister with the word stupid. So we took a 15-minute break, and after 20 minutes, class had resumed, and he realized the three of them were not there. And in the middle of his teaching, he stopped and he said, "Hey, what happened to the McGillicuddies? Where did the McGillicuddies go?" Now I noticed the people that laughed. You told me your age. Interesting. I noticed the people that didn't laugh, they just... And that's no disrespect. You don't know anything about the McGillicuddies. Let me see if I can remember this. I remember as a child, I believe with the I Love Lucy series or something of that episode, if I'm not mistaken, they had some neighbors. They were slow-minded, dim-witted. They were bumbling idiots, the McGillicuddies. And when he threw that out, I was the only person in the class that chuckled. I caught it. And he looked at me and he said, "Ha! I know your age." So if you all Google it, just Google, who are the McGillicuddies? See what Google says about them. You'll find it interesting. So anyway, throughout the duration of the class, one of them thought he was smarter than the teacher. And the teacher was painstakingly humble in the way in which he embarrassed the young man and kept showing him, "You're sent here to learn under me. I'm here to teach you." And he did things to embarrass him and to prove to him just how stupid he really was. Of course, my mind began to drift and wander, and I began to, according to Torah, reflect on the definitive of stupid. We use it all the time to describe somebody that doesn't know something. But stupidity involves a specific spirit. A spirit that numbs the senses of understanding. It nullifies it to a point and a degree that when that spirit takes hold of a specific individual, it places upon them a sense of low-key arrogance that defies the lack of understanding, so as to make the lack of understanding on the behalf of the stupid one to appear wise in a comedic sense. I want y'all to hear what I'm saying. In other words, to be stupid is to be commanded by a specific spirit that nullifies your sense of understanding to a point and a degree where it makes you think you understand it and can therefore mock what's being presented. Is that an irony, or is that a profound irony? You don't know, yet you think you do know. Yet everyone realizes you don't know and understand that you cannot comprehend it, but yet your spirit somewhat finds it funny to be that way. That's serious. And I say that's serious because I remember in Scripture, I believe that's Jeremiah 4:22. I'm not going to go there, but I believe in Jeremiah 4:22, Yahweh uses that word for the children of Israel. He says that we are stupid children. We have not known him. And he doesn't use that in the sense of disrespect. We're his. He can say that to us. And as I reflected on that, I realized in part 2 to this message, Yahweh's judgment on the whole earth. Every man is stupid according to his own knowledge. And that's where we really come to learn in Yahweh. Whereas when we think we know, the ways of Yahweh are past finding out. You ain't gonna know all that there is to know about Yahweh. My brother said, and we do lock that in, a brother of mine said, familiarity breeds contempt. Sometimes you can know people, and then they get to know you even closer. And they'll look up. It can be, you all have gone through this. You pick this out as you see fit in your lives. You can walk a certain way, and they may walk with a limp, but you're not cognizant of the way you walk. Now they envy you because of the way you walk, your stride, your gait, your presentation. They may envy your speech patterns, your skin tone, your interactions. Well, it's anything. A person can look at it and envy that. This is what the world does to the children of Israel. They look at you. They envy you. They despise you. They elevate themselves to a point and a degree where they even think themselves to be above you. Now here's where stupid comes into play. Because that spirit now has them, where they're on the road to destruction. But it makes them think they are superior to you as they fight to prove it to themselves. Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir.
So now this is a stupor. This is the spirit of stupidity. And you have to highlight that for Yahweh's people, because if we're not careful, we too will get caught up like the world. If Yahweh said that we would obey him, and we should keep his commandments, and in the keeping of his commandments, we will be a Kodesh people. He said you will be high. You will be Kodesh. He said you will be above all people who are upon the face of the earth. You're above them when you obey. But right now, even in your obedience, guess what? The kingdom has not been established. So though you are above them, you have not been fully established. Am I making sense? Yahweh said something to King David. We're going to get into this conversation, what Yahweh said to David through the prophet Nathan. You want to really hear what he said to David. Something so beautiful. A lot of times we read the word of Yahweh, we'll read an instruction manual, a book or anything, and we get cocky. We walk away, yeah, I got it. Sometimes we really don't have it. But Yahweh said something to David about establishing his throne and his kingdom. He said, I will establish it before you forever. Think about that. Just pause for a moment. Think about that. And I'm going to ask you all a question. He said, I will establish thy throne before thee forever. Ready? What does that mean? Don't think now. Y'all supposed to have been thinking a few minutes ago. Now is the question, the answer time. What does that mean? Now I'm being rhetorical. What does it mean? Go ahead.
That Yeshua is going to come and set in that place, in that throne. And
Beautiful. That's part of the answer. Beautiful. Beautiful. Anybody else? For those that are at home didn't hear what brother said, he said it means that Yahshua is going to come and he will establish that throne of David. Anybody else?
he'll come down the line of David.
Right. Somebody else said he's coming down through the line of Judah, through the line of, or the lineage of David. It's beautiful, but let's look at how beautiful Yahweh works. Who teaches like Yahweh? Yahweh's judgment upon the earth, part 2. Let's get into this. He tells David, I will establish thy throne before thee forever. Check this out. David was the king. David confided in Nathan the prophet what he wanted to do. Yahweh spoke to Nathan and said, go back, go tell my servant this, that, and the other. Go tell him. So in the process of telling him, I'm pulling one piece of the quotation out of the prophecy. It says, I will establish thy throne before thee forever. David was already the king. His throne was already established. David had to go the way of all the earth. What's the way of all the earth? Dying. Everybody in the earth, everybody dies, right? So now he had to go the way of all the earth. But he was already the king. He saw the kingdom. His throne was already established right there before him, right? He saw it. He knew Shlomo was coming behind him. He saw it. He was already the king. But he had to go the way of all the earth. Israel had to go through several thousand years of catastrophic disrespect, transgression of Yahweh's Torah in every way humanly possible. Yahshua had to come. He had to be rejected. Israel had to then be scattered one final time throughout all the earth. Then he has to come back and he has to establish a kingdom in this earth. Behold, Yahweh cometh with 10,000s of his Kedushin. Is that not what the book says? Set it all up. We got to be resurrected. We got to get up. Am I correct? That we got to get up too. Now all that he established, being the second in command after Shaul, Yahweh made an everlasting covenant with him. And yet he died. Yahshua came. He died. Here come everybody thereafter. They died. Here comes us, our generation. Eventually, we too must die. When Yahshua comes and he establishes that throne, it is a continuum of what Yahweh established in Israel with the first king, with the second king, on to the last king standing, till Yahshua returns. And in that kingdom, it has to stand, even before David, forever. Are y'all getting that? Wasn't the throne established before David got on? Yes. So if you use the word established before, it was established before you got there. It continued on after you got there. But now you got to get up. And what started will be established before you get there. And it'll continue forever before you. Do you understand that?
Yes, yes, sir.
Everybody got it? That's deep. That's deep. Because see, only Yahweh can do that. And when we teach this to Israel, we won't lose faith. We won't lose hope. We won't doubt or stumble along the way. Neither will we get too high-minded to think that we already know it. Because there's always room for more growth in Yahweh. I always remind the children of Israel, calm down. Ain't nothing you're going to do. You ain't going to bring the kingdom no faster than it's coming. I always remind Israel of that. You ever notice Israel, especially the brother, now they done faded out over the years. They out there. But you remember a few years back, Israel was always on the street corners, fussing at somebody. He was always going at somebody. But you ain't bringing the kingdom no faster than it's coming. Am I correct? Yes, sir. You ain't bringing it no faster. So calm down in this lifetime. So when the young woman says to the man that he was stupid, I really pondered that early in the week. Stupid. 3 white boys. One of them was the co-owner of a company. His father owned the company and established it, and he was next in line. And 2 of the employees were there with him. All 3 of them were stupid. 3 dullards. Can you imagine that? You're in a position of power and authority. And yet, socially and intellectually, you're on the same footing with your drug addict friends. And everybody saw it, except them. Isn't that amazing? What Israel does not want to do is to be set up before the whole world, where everybody looks at us and says, these are the people of Yahweh. Yet they've gone so far from it. See, this is why the world does not respect us. You hear me? See, one thing Israel has to learn. You ain't got to make the world honor you right now by serving Yahweh. This is the scenario in the time frame where you serve Yahweh. You're not worrying about what they see. You're serving Yahweh. That's the key. You're not trying to make them honor you because you still ain't got no kingdom to put yourself in. Am I correct? So then we have to humbly, gently walk with Yahweh. That as the song we sing a song here, humble yourself in the sight of Yahshua and he will lift you up. This is why a lot of times you got to be ever so quiet and just seek to obey. Remember the story of the publican and the tax collector, and one wouldn't even so much as lift up his head as he prayed before Abba Yah. The other bragged about how much he gave, what his tithes were, how much he had done, all that. He thanked Yahweh. He's not like this, that, or the other. But one wouldn't even so much as lift up his head as he prayed. Who do you think Yahweh was more pleased with? Are you hearing me? We got to learn that as Yahweh's people, because sometimes people know things about you in the world, and the things that they know about you, they like to critique you or challenge you on that. They like to do that. I'll come back around. I got something to tell you, something that I found real interesting. I don't go through situations or scenarios in life without juxtaposing it against Yahweh's word. And I don't mean that in a self-righteous sense, you know, where you, how art thou in that there garment? And that there garment was not what Yahshua wore. You know, I don't mean it in that sense. I mean, to really make sure we're obeying Yahweh, we want to watch what we do and watch what the world does. Because right about now, the world is really, I believe with all my heart and soul, you're in that era of time now where people are literally, right now, they're not imposing the mark on you. But I don't believe that there's another 50 years, 60, 100 years left to bring what the mark of the beast as a global system is. I don't believe there's that kind of time left to pull it off, especially now with the advances in technology and the way things are going. I went against my word the other day. I said something. We can't always say what we won't do. Sometimes you won't do this, you won't do that, but Yahweh will make you do things sometimes. You say, I ain't gonna never. If Yahweh say do it, you will. So I had backed up off of a lot of different things. I was focused in exclusively on the children of Israel. And Brother Muhammad, I ran into him at 7-Eleven early one morning. And he said, brother, I know how you feel about the media. I know all of the different things that are going on. But you're the only voice that really in this city speaks to our people in a magnitudinal force, that they'll understand what you're saying and see it's the truth. I'm not saying brothers not saying the same thing you're saying, but I'm saying everybody drop what they're doing if you do it. He said, this is not about ratings. This is really about our people. If you don't mind, please come on the broadcast and lay out for the people where we are and what's happening. Spirit said, do it. I agreed to it, went on in, I got my newspaper, got my orange juice, everything else. I didn't hear from him no more that day. What was that? Thursday? Thursday, around 4 o'clock, he called me. And he reminded me that the interview was today. I'm like, I ain't even had time to prepare. Well, we're going to talk about this, we'll talk about that. I had to come in. My phone was on 32%. I charged the phone. I was trying to eat my dinner, trying to get unwound, trying to relax. I'm like, all right, how am I going to deal with this? I know him. He'll conduct an interview. He got 1,001 questions that are off topic. He'll go to this, that, something I ain't even studied for, I ain't prepared for. So I know him. This is going to be a disaster. So lo and behold, 7 o'clock on the dot, he calls me. He links me in, and this is live on his State of the City Facebook page. So he streamed it. Anyway, from 7 to 9, we sat there and we talked. And I liked the way he did something in the interview, because he kept reiterating, this brother is a Hebrew Israelite minister. And he says this, that, and the other, and he always has the proof. He has this, he has that. You all have to do this. And he closed the lines. He didn't let anybody call in and interrupt. He just let the interview run. And he did the most amazing thing. He kept trying to focus the subject matter on Yahweh's word. Yeah. My dear sister, that's the same thing I said. I was like, and anybody look at it or see it. You'll see my face a couple of times when he would say things, and I forgot that I was on the camera. My facial expression would be like, And that was me thinking, what? Did you really do that? He tried to promote the word of Yahweh as best he could. He tried to allow me the right to tie it all in the scripture. And it was really a beautiful interview. And you could tell that Yahweh was truly in it. Because it was the way he directed it. We talked about all the different things that are going on in the world. When we as Yahweh's people talk about the things that are happening and our suffering, one thing you don't want to do is just over-dramatize yourselves as quote-unquote black people. You don't want to over-dramatize it. Just let it like self-leveling cement or water. Water going to run to the lowest spot. That's what it's going to do, right? You put it somewhere, it's going to level itself up. When you speak in reference to the Torah of Yah and this way of life and your nationality and who you are, you don't want to overplay your hand. See what I'm saying? Just let the facts flow. When we say things like, white folk can claim to be the children of Israel all they want. You have no global documented history of having been taken into captivity in no nation, in slave ships, in chains, with your little white, pale buttocks uncovered to the shame of Egypt. You have none of that. You did not boil and eat your children along the passageway. You did not have to slaughter them, sometimes silence them to keep them from giving away your positions. You did not have to nurse the children of the Chinese, or you didn't have to nurse the children of the Africans. You have none of that. So you can't just pop up and say, yeah, that's us, we children of Israel. But all the evidence keeps pointing at another group of people. So when we lay it out, it's something that it ain't even an argument. You lay it out and you let the Ruach speak, and it will guide you in such a way that, just as Yah's word says that the mouth of gainsayers must be stopped, that is what the word of Yahweh does. So we don't have to force it. We don't have to overdo it. And I got to give Brother Muhammad credit. There were other people that are calling now, wanting to interview, wanting to talk to you and all this. I talk when the Spirit of Yah commands that I talk. And I would suggest that we as Israel do the same thing. Because see, what's coming on the face of this earth is a time frame wherein a lot of people that are talking now are going to be wishing they had never talked. Because when that pressure sure enough get put down on you and you got to stand up and say what you said, don't punk out, well, I ain't mean it like that. No. Go with what you said. Am I correct? I was in school. They used to do that in school. Remember that? You said something about my mom. You didn't even say nothing. Children just get some stuff started. So, I ain't saying nothing about your mom. Yes, you did. Now, if the person was showing up bully and wasn't afraid, you get punched in the face before you can even stand up and defend your arm. You get punched. And you got to shake it off, swing, fight back, and all that. But that's the approach the world is taking now. Are you hearing me? The world is taking everything. Oh, you ain't taking no vaccine? I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll get your children. In Philadelphia, they are now vaccinating the children. Public school system without the parents' knowledge. This is the stuff they doing. Parent can't even say nothing. They just giving the child a right to make a decision. Well, look, we'll give you 2 days at home if you choose to take this and that. Well, look, we'll let you out early dismissal. We'll give you some snacks, some cookies. Your parents said no. You can take it's for your health. You want to be healthy or not. This is the type of stuff that's happening. If you can turn a child like that, then when you start looking at prophecy and the word says the children should cause the parent to be put to death, how long will it take before the children start saying stuff that's going on in home, in the private? Ain't no sin, ain't no crime going on. But now the children just giving or divulging your personal information and cause you to be put to death. We are in those time frames. Are you hearing me? No need to keep trying to push it off to a next generation, especially if you're not understanding it and therefore not even preparing the next generation coming behind you to at least be able to stand. Am I correct? You have to at least prepare them. And you can't prepare them if you don't know. You hear me? We were taking a class. Teacher was showing them how to put respirators together. How to take them apart. He said, nobody run ahead of me. I want everybody to do the same thing. I want you all on the same page because I want to make sure everybody understands. All right. Most of us in the room had used the respirator before. You take them apart, you clean them, remove the filter, all that. Most of us had done it. But his point was, for anybody that hadn't, I want everybody to stay on the same page. So one of the McGillicuddies sitting behind me, he took it apart, looked at it, reviewed it, did everything, and put it back together before the man could. He wanted everybody on the same page. So he says, at the front of the class, some people are just so smart that they're dumb. He said some people are so smart that they'll run ahead of their teachers thinking that they already know, and yet they cannot pass themselves in the curriculum. The teacher has the final grade. And he walks to the back of the room and took the respirator apart while he was saying all this to let the young man know, you think you're so smart, and he took it apart. He embarrassed him. That's what Yahweh did to Yisrael. We had the Torah, we had this beautiful law, we had this way of life. We agreed to do all that Yahweh said for us to do. And then we took it apart before Yahweh took it apart. So then Yahweh cast us to where we are, and we are where we are to this day. That's what the spirit of stupidity does to us. Let's go to the book of Isaiah chapter 24. How many of you all like current events? You in school, do you ever take current events? Did they ever just stop and do that? How many of you all liked current events when you were in school? 2 people? What everybody else dropped out of school? They didn't do current events? Okay, 2 people. Just checking. Maybe y'all didn't, so I don't force that on you. I know. Yeah. Look, let me tell y'all something right now. Don't think there ain't a difference in the schools, okay? They teach stuff in the schools, man. I'm going to say this. Integration was the worst thing that could have happened to us as a people. When we had our own school, we were separate from them, and they were separate from us. We had teachers that looked like us, teachers that loved us, teachers that cared. So then we said, I want to be over there with little Johnny. And they fought and fussed about it. They sick dogs on you, washed you down feet with fire. See, that's why your houses burned down so fast, because they wasted all the water washing you down the street in the 60s. Anyway, so you see, that was funny. Y'all catch that later on. Anyway, so you integrated, and they changed the curriculum. They gave you curriculum now, and they really just semi-dumbed you down. I was looking at a Life magazine. Check the date now. Life magazine. June the 6th, 1966. June the 6th, 1966. Wow. Okay, check the date. I was looking for it because there was an interesting article in there about world rulership and all this other stuff. But before I even got to that article, there was an article about the ever-growing complaints of black leadership. And they were there crying about not being integrated inside. You didn't need to be integrated. Just treat people fair. If you're so just and so right, Jesus Christ is so good and all this, just be fair, right? Wouldn't you expect that? Anyway. Here you are now after 1966. You're still crying, still grumbling, you're still complaining, you're still suffering, you're still struggling. And, you know, a young woman said, and I got to borrow her quote, a young woman said that America is like the neighborhood crackhead. Said the neighborhood crackhead give you everything but what you want. You understand? Say, Tyrone, $20 I loan you. Like, you got my $20? No, I ain't got that $20. But look. I got these truck tires here. You can put on your Volkswagen. You always got something you don't need. Just like America always giving you something. They give you everything but what you need. You hear what I'm saying? See, now, slaves need to be free. We need this, we need that. They just gonna give you a holiday. You ain't giving no anti-lynching bill. You ain't gave no reparations. You always giving something that they don't. I'm telling you, it's now we know where the spirit of a crackhead has come from. They got it from their fathers, from the American government. Do you understand me? So this is why Yahweh's judgment has to happen in the earth. We as Yahweh people go through things sometimes. You got to stop and look at what you went through and say, whoa, that was Yahweh that brought me through, but that was profound that I went through it. Y'all ready? Isaiah 24:10. We've recently gone through these phases of prophecy. And the sad part is that we're sailing down a river of no return. Now, once you read this and, like current events in public school systems, update it. And see if you won't say wow to yourselves throughout the duration of this message. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Isaiah 24. The new wine mourneth, the vine languisheth, and all the merry-hearted do sigh. Now, what would make the arrogance of the merry-hearted? Now, everybody's merry-hearted ain't always arrogant. I'm speaking globally now, okay? The arrogant, something just broke them down. They were, they were in the house. See, you found out who really loved each other during the coronavirus shutdown, because people were shut up in the house with each other and realized just how sick of one another they really were. I didn't go through that. I don't know about you all. I didn't go through that. Hey, we ain't work, wasn't nothing happening. It was the delight to be home with my Isha, to be home with my family. I ain't got, hey, I'm sick of looking at you, you know. I'd be glad when you go in the other room. I don't go through that. I thank y'all for, even on Shabbat, I am glad to come into the bed of Yah. It is an honor to see each and every one of your faces. I delight in that. I really do. Now, catch me. I'm telling the truth. Catch me on a Monday morning on the job site. And you can get that spirit where I'm like, oh man, just see. Brother did that to me in class. He said, yeah, mine. He said, every time we in class, you always get the wall. I need an assistant. I admit it. I took the wall seat because I needed some help. I'm going to lean up on the wall. I was going to drift off for a minute. I was going to think. But that's how I am with people in the world. When I got to be around the people of the world, it is truly depressing. Because see, the world don't know Yahweh, and in all the world, they don't even have to know you. Their spirit pick right up on who you are. And their spirit now got to do things that aggravate you or demonstrate that they hate you or despise you. Everybody, I've watched, see, people in the class I was with the last 2 weeks, they will whoop me if they knew what I was thinking. I'm straight, they put hands on me. Because you pick up on their arrogance. Every nationality on the face of this earth, if they don't really come to know Yahweh, everyone of them think they better than you. They can come to America, and American government, American media, American police, American social service agencies, everything you can think of, they can come to this country, and all the social institutions that hold this country together will look down on them. They will look down on you. You can already be a homeowner, you can be well established, you can be black, a millionaire, what have you. They can have one penny seeking to find another to rub with it, and will look down their nose at you. It is amazing. It is a spiritual thing. And sometimes you can pick up on people, I'm going to say this neighborhood term, but sometimes you can pick up on people's stank attitude. When I say stank, meaning they think themselves so superior, so better than you, they look at you like you stank. When the reality is the stank and the stench is coming from their spirit. Are you hearing me? Yes, sir. So this is the world, man. This is why Israel's got to be ever so humble, got to be ever so patient, because you don't want to return that wickedness unto them. You want Yahweh to be your healer, your provider, and your deliverer. Are you hearing me? Yes, sir. You may not like them no more than they like you, but just don't make the mistake of you acting upon it like they do. You hear me? I'll come back and explain some of this. But current events, they shall not, the mirth of tabrets ceaseth. The noise of them that rejoice endeth. The joy of the harp ceaseth. Remember how they shut Hollywood down, shut Broadway down. They couldn't make the movie theaters. They couldn't go in there and dance, fiddle on the roof or whatever stuff they running this week. They shall not drink wine with a song. Strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. Look, Stephen Colbert. I don't know if anybody familiar with Stephen Colbert, but Stephen Colbert, for the whole year that he couldn't go in the studio and run his program, I don't know if y'all noticed or not, Stephen Colbert sat up and damn near drank himself to death every night. Right on TV, live, just drinking. Had to do the show from the house and couldn't really make it with the wife and the kid. I don't know if y'all picking it up. I would watch the news and then this crap come on and I'm reading and studying, looking, and I would look up, pay attention to that crap like that. But I'm telling you, he done alcoholized himself, now if that's a word, if it ain't, we're making it a word. He alcoholized himself to a point of degree, man, 2 more weeks, he probably would have shot himself. So they opened up, and now he back in, and he can't stop praising the people, bottle of bourbon under the desk for the show. I want y'all to understand, we live through this. And sometimes we might not be seeing what we're seeing, though we're living in it, and yet y'all's word called it out far in advance. Making sense yet? Yes, sir. The city of confusion is broken down. I know a city that was broke down. Now look, here America is the city of confusion, right? Ain't it right? Right or wrong? Democrat, right? Republican. What's the difference? Thank you. He said none. Anybody else? What's the difference? Donkey and elephant, right? What's the difference? Nobody know? Good. Confusion. Right, left, Democrat, Republican, straight, gay. Everything is confusion, right? Nothing's ever just what it is. The city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up, that no man may what? Nobody couldn't even come visit you at your house. Didn't they tell you that? Don't come to nobody's house. Nobody want to go to your house. Everybody thinking everybody had something. Right? Now, well, you couldn't go to nobody's house. You had to put a mask on, put a hoodie on, had to put True story. Don't try me, because I got the picture to prove it. True story. You had to put a mask on, you had to put this on, you had to put that on, you had to put on your face, whatever you put on. Saw a man in the market, pair of drawers on his face. Fruit of the Loom. Got the picture to prove it. Now, I don't know what kind of freaky, sexual, perverted nonsense go with it, but I just got the picture to prove it. This type of world you live in. I told you all, they would get down to the point, man, where they would make the pedophiles and the freaks and all other stuff be perfectly normal, and you the problem. You, the commandment keeper, will eventually be the problem. That's what they're working on. That's where they're getting to now. Are you hearing me? See, NAACP come out and give image awards to some of the most sexually deviant, perverted people in the earth, but they supposed to be representing you. Are you understanding? This is the stuff that's happening now. There is a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. This literally happened in your lifetime. Every one of you, even every child in here, from the oldest to the youngest, every one of you, it happened in your lifetime. So don't act like you ain't see it. They were crying about the wine. The vineyards got stricken by the coronavirus as well, because they put a certain group of people out there who were tending the vineyards, and they were sick and coughing all over the grapes, and all kind of stuff was happening. They had to throw away hundreds of millions of dollars worth of that stuff. Did y'all read those stories? Did you hear that type of stuff? Well, so I'm the only nosy one in the sanctuary. Well, what y'all doing? So I'm the only one who saw that stuff. Just anyway. This is the type of stuff that happened, Israel. They lost money on so many different levels, some of which there will be no recovery from. See, the hypocrisy of the world, if Yahweh don't bust this stuff down, their hypocrisy will just continue to eat away like a cancer. If Yahweh don't step in for his people and bust this down, that's exactly what's going to happen. Yahweh's people, in the meanwhile, don't get caught doubting the word and all of this stuff. Wait on Yahweh. Somewhere along the way, he got some messages. He always said in the word to Israel to understand. Just I won't get ahead of myself, but I'll quote this. See, when talking to the Gentiles, he reminded them, how you going to hear the word of Yahweh without a preacher? That was written in the book of the Romans to remind the Gentile nation, y'all can't get it unless I send somebody preaching it, right? Then he turned around and reminded Israel in the book or the letter to the Hebrews. To the Hebrews, he did say, and no man taketh this office upon himself, except he that was called, as Aaron was called. You understand my point now? See how Israel is in such trouble? You got everybody doing it. Everybody trying to deliver the word. Yahweh ain't going to call everybody. Come on, man. With all the brothers preaching and teaching today, you would think the nation getting better. And it would start with the households. Are you hearing me? I was talking to a young man yesterday, and I said something. I know it offended him. I don't give a damn. Gave him some real good advice about life. Something so simple. To really enjoy life in the earthly social setting that you have right here, so you really want to enjoy life, I'm going to tell you what to do. Get you a hedge trimmer and trim that bush down, because that bush is standing there wild like an octopus, reaching all out, choking your mailman. Anybody walk past trying to get up your front to knock on your door, trim that bush down. Cut that grass so that them babies can play right there in that little square spot. If that's what it takes, they don't have to be cooped up in the house. I said, they're little. Put them in that little spot right there and let them play. To them, that's the world. That's a healthy childhood that will help them in so much. I said, you all don't know how to live because you're so used to violence and bloodshed and fighting and shooting and killing. And you think that's a normal life. But what would your children say if you as their daddy get murdered? How can a 1-year-old say, yeah, my father got killed when I was a year old? How can a 5-year-old say, yeah, my daddy got killed when I was 5 years old? And what kind of memory is that? And I turned and I pointed to a man across the street. His lawn was the same size as the young man's lawn I was talking to. I said, look at him. They just enjoying life as best they can. He had a kiddie pool in the yard. Daddy was on the porch with a super soaker. And the kiddie pool came up about 3 feet high. And the little son was behind the kiddie pool in the yard with a water gun, shooting back at Daddy, and Daddy shooting back at him. I said, look at them on their own property, enjoying life. Fenced in, just him in his pool. You got to learn how to enjoy life. Yahweh give you the right, Yisrael, to live, to love, to laugh, to enjoy life. You just don't want to abuse that by trying to emulate the world. You're going to have to make do with what you got wherever you are for right now, as opposed to just letting your mind be ghettoized with the oppression of what you see. So then I told the young man, I said, you need a vehicle. You got too many children to just be jumping on the bus with your babies. You need a vehicle. And from time to time, you get out there. I said, as a child, one of my fondest memories with my mother and father was Sundays. Wasn't every Sunday, but at least a couple times a month. You know what we did? We went for a Sunday drive. And I reflected on it as a little child. I said, you know what? Sometimes we didn't even get out the car. He just took us around for a drive. You might go past some farms. You might stop and look at some chickens. You might go down the road. You might stop and get some ice cream. Might get something. But then you went back home. But now, that was children's heaven. Just a Sunday drive. You hear what I'm saying? Something so, what's the word am I looking for? Unimposing. But just a healthy childhood. Children grow up in the inner city, they mad, they in these houses, man, cooped up in one room all day, they mad, man, they fist fighting, man. They wake up in the morning, man. I guess so. They don't get a chance to even breathe no fresh air. They don't get taught none of the principles and values of life. They don't get to understand how the grass even grows because they're not being taught a connection between that earth and you and me and us and them and their housing to Yahweh. So then they don't see it. They just see whatever they see. So now Yahweh shut the whole world down. He said that the crying for wine in the streets, all joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. Look at the people now. They letting them out now. People coming out like wild animals too. You notice? Notice when we all were shut in, what happened? Something real simple happened. They shut the world down. Something happened. Bingo. We went in, the animals came out. And they were loving it. Think about it. The little deer would come out. I don't know what them things called. What would you call them? And, you know, his little deer wife say, humans? Yeah, humans. I don't know where they at, but this is great. And he was all on your lawn, eating your bushes, eating the berries off of this, that, and that. They were strutting. They was in the street. This is great. Right? Because we was shut in. They looking at us. Like, what? Is this the people's zoo? What's happening? Now we coming out, acting like, say it again, what's the word? Animals. Time magazine last week ran a cover story basically warning them, y'all watch the winter time, winter coming back. And they talking about corona and all this other stuff coming back. I would suggest to the people of Yahweh, don't stop praying, don't drop your guard on them. Okay, they're running a global population program. And it's one of the things we were talking about on Brother Muhammad's broadcast, how they were running it and how Brother Steve Copley was calling this stuff out years in advance, telling the people. One of the last things he said before he died was, we better tighten up, we better brace ourselves, because they're getting ready to do something to the world. That was in 2012. He said they're getting ready to do something to the world. There you have it. Sometimes y'all would bring men and women forward to bring up the testify thing because Israel ain't ready, so then y'all would let it emerge through the mouth of a social advocate or somebody fighting economic justice. They bring this stuff. We ain't paying attention to it according to Yahweh's word. We ain't paying attention to it socially. We don't watch the news. We don't pay attention to anything. So when the scripture asks, who is blind but my messenger? Or who is deaf but my servant that I sent? Who's going to really stand and say, yeah, that's us. Yeah, that's me. Has the house of Israel, I'm talking as a nation, not as this little assembly, has the house of Israel fully stood up and said, yeah, that's definitely us? We are blind with what Yahweh gave us to see. We are deaf according to what Yahweh said for us to hear. But yet that's us. Am I correct?
That's right.
Come on, let's lay this out. In the city is left desolation. Look at the city. The houses and different things are torn down now. Brother said to me the other day, he said, Brother David, some of these houses, man, and this land that they knocking down, we can take that land, man, and take them lands and make developments and grow food on the land. Sounds beautiful. But in that class about lead abatement and asbestos removal and all that, I learned so much. As I said last week, I'll say again, Yahweh's not going to be outdone by man. Once man transgressed the very thing that Yahweh created for man to enjoy, he turned it on him. Because see, I didn't know that asbestos was a naturally occurring element in the earth. I didn't know that till I took the class. I'm going there, yeah, I know, so I ain't know nothing. There are mountains, an entire mountain growing. You don't know that. That's asbestos. You go there and you look at the mountain and you see the rock formation in it and it's beautiful. You see the little fibers in it, look like, oh, you don't even know what you're looking at. But you're looking at something that's waiting to kick you. Now, think of what I'm saying, because that's profound, that y'all would just let it, a naturally occurring element be right there, that if you deal with too much of it, 20, 30 years down the road, its latent effect will kill you. All because of the initial sin and transgression of man. That's something to make us all fall on our knees and say, well, Abba Yah, please have mercy upon us. We're all dying. The moment you come up out your mother's womb, the death process starts germinating. Are you hearing me? The moment you come out the womb, it starts germinating. So let's not act like we ain't gonna die. When people die, that's the first thing they do. I know a young man, he died, and the poor brother, first thing the brother didn't even have respect for the young man or for his father and mother. He just, how he died? And I'm thinking to myself, well, truth be told, sometimes we're so nosy. We just gotta know something. Just got to know. Gotta know. He died. That's all that matters. Go to the grave and ask him how he died. We don't know when to quit as a people. When I was growing up as a child, there were just certain things my parents taught us you don't say to adults. There's certain things you don't ask people. You don't inquire in people's business. My wife was reminding me about a so-called friend of mine years ago, talking about the first time he came to the house. She said, I didn't like him when he first came in the house because the way he looked around the house, then looked at me. And as I thought about it, I said to myself, she's right. But hey, in the end, I did get him back. Hey, I take Yahweh's word and blast off him. Look, I ain't playing with you. I ain't seeking vengeance, but when it comes to Yahweh's word, I have learned, and I'm telling you all, don't be no pushover. Don't let nobody push up on you with what they believe and what their opinions are, because that's how people always shut the children of Israel down. We go along with everything everybody do. We see all the trinkets of the society, all the stuff they got, their merchandise, the way they worship their gods, all this stupid stuff. We want to do what we see the nations do. Yahweh gave you the best way, right? You don't let nobody come along and shame you for the way you are. Come on, man, please. Man in the class sitting next to me, they were talking about a makeup test or some other stuff. If you fail or what have you come back, you make it up. You come back, you'll make it up on Saturday. So, out of the blue, the brother says, well, he can't come on Saturday because he'll be in church on Saturday. Now, right, what did that have to do with what was it? That's me. Number one, I ain't planning on failing. Number two, it wasn't none of your business. Number three, when we start taking the test, and the man was teaching the class a week or so, a couple days in advance, he was talking about lead poisoning and all. The young man, he was a victim. He had lead poisoning, okay? Now, he didn't disclose that. But he had lead poisoning as a child. He got a lawsuit, cases of money and all that stuff. But anyway, so when I finished up and was closing, you finished up the test, he graded real quick, tell you what you passed, whatever, and you leave. So he's sitting there, he's like, man, I'm struggling with this. I can't do it. So now here comes my opportunity for a smart comment. So I said to him, well, boy, you better hurry up, man. You better take some of that lead and put that lead on that paper, man. Go and pass that test. And I packed my books up and I left. Now, I don't think he liked the joke. It was funny to me. But at any rate, you put me out there with your joke, and it was funny to you. When I did it, now you don't like it. That's the world. This is why Yahweh's judgment has to come upon the whole earth. And Yisrael is involved too. Let's not act like we just the good old victims and everything and with that. We transgress Yahweh's Torah. And we got to go back in the lost books. He doesn't say transgressed against the Torah. He says they have transgressed the Torah. Notice, that meant the whole law. Everything we were told to do. You run a stop sign. That's one portion of the man's law, right? He come down on you for it. Right? What else? Give me something you do that's a violation of the law. I need some help. A little help here. Speed. Okay, good one. Speed. That's another part of the law. But there are hundreds, if not thousands of laws on the book, right? Give me some more examples of breaking the law.
Turn the radio up.
Okay, loud music, noise ordinances. That's a good example. Breaking the law. Okay, now we got 3 that we done. Give me some more.
Not wearing seatbelt.
Okay, not wearing seatbelt.
Breaking in and
Good one. Breaking it in. Notice now, all the self-righteous Israelites, y'all can't think of that. I don't break this man's law. I can't think of anything. I don't break. Okay, that's beautiful. Point being, we transgress Yahweh's Torah. He didn't say parts of the Torah. He said the Torah. It meant the whole law. That's serious, right? So now we out here struggling and we're looking at the whole world. I don't know too many Israelite ministers that really take current affairs, world events, and weave them together in Yahweh's word. But I can tell you all this much. And Brother Muhammad kind of like squeezed this one out of me. This was at the close of the interview. But I didn't lie to him. I don't hesitate and tell you all everything that there is to know. He squeezed that one out of me about people disrespecting the leadership that really has the knowledge or that really know. And how even then we have to be willing and forgiving enough to work with the people anyway. And I ain't wanting to sit up and lie to Yahweh's people and hide nothing. My life is an open book. Anything you need to know, I don't have problem telling it. Anything you don't need to know, trust me. I will quickly say, that ain't none of your business. Okay? Ain't that how it should be? Yeah. All right. Anyway, so I told Brother Mom, I said, yeah, well, I admit, brother, I am guilty of that one. I said, man, I am so tired. So I have become so worn down. I said that a lot of what's taking place in the communities now, I don't even pay it any attention. I said a lot of the activists, I don't even respond to them. Sometimes they'll call me. I won't even take their call because they're not serious about what's taking place. Y'all would let me to now, I focus on Israel, exclusively on Yahweh's people. And I let him know. And at the time he called, this was interesting. At the time he called me. I was sitting down. I was restringing the guitar. So at the end of the interview, and he was asking, well, Brother David, how do you deal with it all? I grabbed the guitar. And I said, brother, this is what I do right here. I practice. I play in the assembly of Yahweh. I pray for Yahweh's people. I said, I get relaxation out of that. So I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't club, I don't hang out with nobody. I'm home. I read Yahweh's word, I study, I research, I do whatever I got to do that's job related. And I learn to play that. I relax. I said, when I touch that, I tune everybody out. So that's what I do. And he said, man, that's beautiful. So I got to learn to do something. And that's what I've been saying. Some of this stuff, you'll kill yourself. Yahweh gave Moshe a break by telling him how to get some help and what to give them in the authority to do and how to get it done. And if you watch Israel so closely, there's an order to Yahweh's house. None of them overstepped the boundary of what Yahweh established for them except Korah, Abiram, and Dathan. The spirit of stupidity. It came upon them where they thought themselves to be equal to Moshe. But Yahweh called and sent Moshe. Correct? Yes, so he didn't call Korah, Abiram, and Dathan. Because Yahweh ain't going to have but so much confusion going in such an area or in the rankings. He let Moshe know, all right, it's a little weight on you. It's a little pressure. But let me show you how to do it because you are still the head. This is your help. This is how you dispense your help on this, on that, this, that, and the other. I've seen in my little lifetime here in this assembly so many brothers that have come here that were raring to go, to preach and to teach and to do this and to do that. And some of the smallest matters in the Torah that they left undone, we're still going to be judged by. Torah says, for all have sinned and come short of the kabod, or of the glory of Yahweh. We've all sinned. But we're responsible to make certain we line this thing up as best we can and not intentionally or not deliberately ignore something because we know the person's right and we just don't want to hear them because this is what we want to do. No. We still got an order to maintain. We still got some law we have to follow because in Yahweh's house, there is no confusion. The only one that ever brought confusion in the house and home of Yahweh got kicked out of there faster than lightning. Ain't that what the book say? Yahweh don't play that. He and all that rebel with him got kicked out at the same time. We got to learn how to bring order to our lives before we can bring order to this world. It ain't our duty to bring the order to the world now. We messed up in the game so bad, it's for us as Israel, bring order to each and every one of our homes, and each and every one of our homes a representative of the nation, and it's a representation of the assembly of Yahweh, so that we have that order, and that we are so well-mannered and so orderly in the Torah of Yahweh. We're not talking automatons now. We're not talking, shalom, 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 shalom. I'm talking a beauty in a way of life that is just so profound, that is so far-reaching. Yes, you have the right to live, to love, to laugh, to honor one another in Yahweh, because that perfect shalom abides in our homes. It abides in our lives. It abides in our ingatherings. It abides in all that we do, such that if we start trying to omit or eliminate any of it, it's going to tell on us. Am I making sense? It's going to tell. That's why you have to remind the world, Yahweh didn't give Israel a religion. He gave us a way of life. That's the difference. That's where most people fail. I done seen so many brothers come to the name of Yahweh, come out of the church. Now, pay attention to this point now. They come out of the church where the church wasn't. Where the church wasn't teaching or advocating the law. And you didn't know it. Now we can't teach it because you steady trying to run and teach it, but yet you lack the time in, the time served. You don't go in the military and become a E11, E9, E7 without having worked your way up the ranks. Am I correct? Time served. Prisoner don't even go to prison. Check this out. He don't even go to prison on a 35-year sentence. He just started his time June. What's the date? June 19th? He just started June the 1st. How you going to get what they call good time? Good days. Well, he ain't got no infractions. He ain't been in no trouble. He been in there 19 days. Right? He ready. I'm going up for parole next week. You just started. You got 19 days in on a 35-year sentence. How you think you getting parole? Is that how it works? Yahweh's judgment is on this whole earth. And Israel got to know some stuff. I'm going to get into some beautiful things. I want to discuss a couple prophecies concerning the Messiah. I want to get into the scriptures here real quick. I want to give a discussion so that we grab hold of a distinctive difference between those two beasts in Revelation 13, because there is the first beast and there is the second beast. And I got to back up and give credit to Brother Muhammad, because again, the way he directed his line of questioning to bring all of this out, he really highlighted it for anybody that would sit down and hear the interview. He allowed me the right to lay this stuff out. And the spirit of Abba Yah was really using me, total Yahweh, for that. Because where I was sitting and did the interview, I ain't had none of my books, none of my material. I had nothing in front of me. I just took the call and opened up the line. This is why I hate that. What we call that stuff?
Video call.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, video call, Duo, Skype, or Zoom. I hate all that stuff. So when I did the interview, I was real smooth with it. I set it up where I was looking down at the camera. So when you see the background was a seal. Yeah, see, you understand? I don't like that. People call, I'm going to work that morning, bro, call me 8 o'clock in the morning, flying down the road, 70 miles an hour, he Duo calling. Number one, I don't want to see you. I don't care if I'm standing on the sidewalk. I don't want to see you. I can hear you talk. That's the way the old phones work, right? Yeah. Remember Batman into the Batcave, Robin? The phone rang, that old-timey ring. But boy, giggling. but anyway, if you got to talk, you talk. I don't need to see you. People be duoing, they call you duo, they ain't got no shirt on. Sitting there, wait a minute, you ain't even dressing, you gonna be calling somebody. I don't answer no Duo, so please, Israel, don't call me Duo, Skype, all that other stuff. I'm old fashioned, I like the phone. You call me, I'll answer it, I'll pick it up.
That's right.
I'll text back if I can from time to time. But look, we ain't jockeying back and forth with no book-long paragraph texting either. You get a couple words, I send back, I read it, I see it, I pray about it, I respond accordingly, what have you. But we ain't going back no 2-3 hour texting now. I'm going to tell you all, I got too much to do to be doing that. But anyway, I took the call and I positioned it so you could see the ceiling or whatever. And this went on for 2 hours. I was tired, my back started bothering me a little bit, and I was looking at the clock when it was 10 minutes to 9. Seemed like the 10 minutes just drug on for an extra hour. But I got Yahweh's word across. And I slept like a baby. The next day, Friday morning, I got so many calls because so many people said, I learned so much from that interview. It was so humbling to sit and just hear you. And I'm glad he didn't let nobody interrupt you. He let you run, you flow, you laid it out. Man, anybody didn't learn from that, they got a problem. Well, I praise Yahweh, don't praise me. We praise Yahweh. We are in an era of time now with some of the stuff that we have to be taught. You're going to just have to know it. You ain't going to be able to talk about everything with everybody. Some stuff you're going to just have to know it. There's an agency out here. Let's put them out there on Front Street real quick. There's an agency called DIA. DIA. It's the Defense Information Agency. Now, they have a certain wing in which this wing specializes in analyzing up-and-coming or emerging religious leadership. You hear me? That's what they monitor, because they know that Yahweh's word has to go forth prophetically. They already have the plan. This goes to show you how hateful they are to Yahweh. You all got access to the same plan we got. He gonna set the kingdom up. He gonna bust you down. He gonna bust you in your face. He gonna do whatever he gotta do. He gonna get you. So now, don't be trying to head us off. Or what date is he coming? Don't worry about it. When he comes, you will not miss him. Trust me. You're gonna be off somewhere doing paperwork, and the kingdom got set up, and he missed you. You will all know. Anyway, they watch leadership, but they will assassinate your leadership. You got to understand this stuff. You got to check into how things go and monitor nationwide. Pay attention to sometimes how leadership and positions of leadership that are healthy, relatively wise, and are maneuvering in ways to just bring Yahweh's people to the point of understanding. They don't even want you having that. So then they go after the leadership. It's subtle now. You don't have to shoot them like they did in the 60s. They have perfected the art of medical murder. Are you hearing me? They have perfected other things now and ways in which to do stuff. Their computer technology, they don't even have terminologies to describe some of the stuff that's going on, because some of the computations that these computers do are now so far in advance that the computers are able to even build themselves. Are you hearing what I'm saying to you? The technology is able now to just even medically be involved in the body to actively generate itself with other things. Perhaps why you need 2 shots. Anyway, you need stuff in the body that will connect with other stuff, that will pull the proteins that are now, the protein becomes the generator, or the, the energizer. It's the battery. Some of it is solar operated. You can be out in the heat, and as long as your body temperature function, it can do stuff. Other stuff takes the protein right out of your body. It links itself in. It directs. It builds. It's making nanotechnology within, thus merging man with machine. Children can, from birth at a hospital, be programmed to grow up and hate the Almighty or hate you. Different things are happening now at such a rapid and alarming rate. There is no safe hiding place except in Yahweh Shua. There's nothing you can do to stop it. There is no overthrowing it. There's none of that now. The name of Yahweh is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and are safe. That makes sense? In the city is left desolation. Look at all the houses and all the things are torn down. The land is polluted, poisonous chemicals in the earth, everything you think of. And the gate is smitten with destruction. When thus it shall be in the midst of the land among the people. In other words, when you see these conditions, do you see these conditions? When thus it shall be in the midst of the land among the people, there shall be as the shaking of an olive tree, as the gleaning grapes when the vintage is done. Do you know what that means? When you done got all the grapes out of the vintage, out the wine yard, you ain't got everything. You ain't gonna get them all. You know, you just left a few in there. As well as according to the Torah, leave it on the outskirts for the poor. But when you done got up everything and gathered it up, ain't no whole lot there. You go there and shake the tree, ain't nothing coming off of it. You go there and shake the vine, you can't get nothing because there will be very few of it left. So Yahweh says, when you see this type of desolation in the city, know what's taking place. Yahweh is thinning out not just Israel, but the world. Yeah, they're the ones in charge of the program. They're doing it. They're going to pay for that black, dark sin too. I want y'all to understand. They're going to pay for this stuff. So right now, they're racist. They hate you because your skin is dark. Yahweh hate them because their sin is dark. Did you hear me? Hate you because your skin is dark. Hate them because their sin is dark. Now, which would you prefer? They shall lift up their voice. They shall sing for the majesty of Yahweh. They shall cry aloud from the sea. Now y'all see why I said today we missed a small opportunity. This ain't a rebuke. This is just a commentary. You know how sometimes we sing some of them songs of praise. You sing it so beautiful to Yahweh. And just as it died down, you used to pick it back up and catch that note run. And I was like, how we missed that moment. A seized moment to just give extra praise and honor to. You just thank it. Ain't that how children do? Yeah. Adults. Your mother ever put something on the table, just cook and put the food down, it was just so well. You just eating, smacking your lips and wiping your little finger. Thank you, mommy. That was so beautiful. That was so stupendous if you use the word. But you ever been through that? Your meal, come on, y'all cook some Shabbat meals, right? Sometimes that meal be so spectacular. I was like, What was it, 2 Shabbats ago? I think it was. I forget when exactly. But anyway, Isha put that plate down in front of me. I was chewing. Man, I shut my eyes. I was chewing my food. I took my teeth and tongue and I beat every piece of seasoning out of that food. I wasn't letting nothing escape. Don't swallow too fast. You want it all to touch your palates, your platelets, whatever you call it. You understand? Listen to me. I've gone off on food. I shut my eyes and thanked Yahweh. It is He who put the seasonings together in the earth. It is He that gave the animal that will give up its life. A lot of people, they don't eat meat. Okay, that's fine, but don't go around teaching you're not supposed to eat no meat. Shut your face. I had to say it like a little man. Like, shut your face. You can't go teaching that, say that. The vegetables in this earth, guess what? Your vegetables are just as contaminated as the meat. And your meat just contaminated as the food. It is Yahweh that sustains us all. Okay? Moshe went up on the mountain 40 days and 40 nights. And he wasn't up there on night 21 interrupting Yahweh. You know what, Yahweh? Excuse me. If you don't mind, I'm going to go down and I'm going to stop and grab me a burger real quick. And I'll be right back. Don't forget your point. I'm just going and get a burger and some cheese. You really? Yahweh sustained him. Not once, but twice. Yahshua fasted and came down off the fast. What does the scripture say about when he came down off the fast? What happened to you when you come off a fast? Who said it? Say the word. He was hungry. Everybody was looking like, oh, that's it? That's the word? Hungry? Okay. Yeah. Yes, that's the word. He was hungry. So he ate. Am I correct? There you go. A couple of the disciples, they was hard-hitting. Let me see him sit down and eat. And it's human nature, rightly so, right? Oh, yeah. Brother, mister, did I have permission to bring up the story about Jonah? Did Brother Saka bring it up? Yeah, brother hit us with a mystery because a man, little white man, he got bit by a whale early in the week. But the whale didn't swallow him out, didn't swallow him. He ain't like the taste, so he spit him back out. But brother did hit us with an issue about the stomach acid in the whale. I'm going to address it as y'all will give me an understanding of it. Now check this out. Here's Jonah. He gets thrown in the belly of the whale, right? First of all, Jonah was rebellious. When you are rebellious against Yahweh, what's the figure of speech we say? Somebody do something we don't like, he said, nah, he put a bitter taste in my mouth. Right? Jonah put a bitter taste in Yahweh's mouth by being rebellious. Am I correct? Now, Yahweh, who has all power, I ain't going to equate Jonah and the whale with this man and the whale he was in, right? Again, you hadn't have been as out there in the water. The whale just bit you, chomped down on you, said, I don't like that. That was the end of that. Now, Jonah had to go in the belly of the whale. And the brother said to test it out to see what y'all would give me. Because he would have been destroyed by the acid in the whale's stomach. Well, Yahweh made the whale. Yahweh know how the stomach works. He know the acids and all that stuff. Let's just bust this down for sake of people who don't understand it or wouldn't believe it. Check this out. Yahweh can create any condition he wants and make the condition so miraculous that you might not understand it unless he give you deeper insight into it. What made the whale regurgitate Jonah? What made him throw him back up? Okay, if the whale by chance was sick, and sick because it was Yahweh's will that he got sick, but yet he swallowed the man who put a bad taste in Yahweh's mouth and was overthrown. Now, in sickness, he's sick for 3 days and 3 nights. He's in that water. He got something in him that don't belong in him. And now his body ain't acting right. And after 3 days, he goes somewhere, and now his whole health system got to get back on track. But first, he got something in him that he can't swallow, that he can't digest properly, that ain't setting too well with him. So at the appointed time, he come to the earth and regurgitate that man. Now his body getting back to normal. When you sick and you got to throw up, some of your body functions ain't fully cooperating with you. And you don't get better until you throw it up. So now Yahweh commanded that whale's amino acids or whatever's in his stomach to not destroy his messenger. But as a result, it caused the whale to not feel well. And he threw the man of Yahweh back up. I hope that makes sense. In case we don't understand or don't know, sometimes we got to pray and ask Yahweh, give us insight into it. He had to stay in the belly of that whale 3 days and 3 nights because if he didn't, we had and have no chance at salvation. Because Yahshua had to stay in the belly of the earth 3 days and 3 nights. Just as no man can die and be put in that ground 3 days and 3 nights and get up on his own accord, neither did Yahshua. So then, neither did Jonah go in, neither did that whale swallow without the power of Yahweh. Let us never make the mistake of limiting the power of Yahweh to that of our own understanding. Because again, his ways are past finding out. We don't know how Yahweh going to deliver all of us in this earth through all that's got to take place in this earth. But he said he's going to do it. He's going to do it. So then, we ain't worried about it. When it's time to go through it, you're going to go through it. You hear what I say? We were down sick. I don't know what I had. I'm not claiming corona because I don't know what I had. Ain't no doctor diagnosed me. A doctor healed me. Let me give y'all his address and his name because you want his name and his address for future reference. See if I got it up here real quick. There it is. Yahweh, Yahshua.
Hallelujah.
Need the address? Hashemayim. And everywhere. Didn't he say in the word, do not unfill both heaven and earth? So, got a problem? Go see the doctor. Y'all all right with that? Alright, just want to take you to the Jonah and the whale thing. I won't even knock the little white man that was on the news that said the whale had him, whatever, and the whale bit him. See, let's be honest without disrespecting him, but let's just tell the truth. Some stuff happens in the news. Ethnically. Racially. You know who it is. By the way it happened, right or wrong. Come on now. Some stuff happened. You automatically know who it is. You might be walking past in the news, say something stupid. You stop, look. Your mind. This ain't prejudice. This is just common, natural. Now, your mind stops. Say, all right, now no, that was Tyrone did that. No, it was a brother. Right? Something else happened. You going down there, you stop. Now, no, that was a white man. It's just natural. It happens among whites. It happens among blacks. You know it. You know it. You know it. Certain stupid characteristics and cultural dynamics are germane to all of us. Black, brown, red, yellow, white. You know who it is, okay? Don't come acting all stupid. See, yeah.
He's been in 3 different situations. So that's not the first time that something like that happened.
See, he probably ain't living right. 3 different situations.
He said it on the news right after the story.
Wasn't he in a plane crash or something?
Something else happened.
This stuff just keep on happening, right?
Yep. And the news report said he need to stay home.
He need to get on his knees. They think they just lucky. A lot of, they use the word too, lucky. They think they're lucky, you know. And like the people in the zoo with in the whale tank, you get something called the killer whale, and you're gonna get him in there and train him to come up and do flips in the zoo in a contained environment somewhere. You're gonna train him, and y'all think you're doing something great. And we that know better, we look up and say, them people crazy. The little white woman, she in there with the little dolphin. For him, it's his season. He figure you one of us. You got your little skin tight suit on. It's black like my skin. It's gray on like this, that, now. And then he started jumping on her. And she, now that kiki stuff to us that know is a signal like, yeah, you really want to try him out. Now, I ain't gonna diss them. I'm just gonna tell the truth. Some people think it's their known duty to have sex with everything on the face. They try it all out. It is an abomination, so saith Yahweh. It is an abomination, and they don't need to think of that because you do certain stuff, get away with it for generations that you're not gonna pay for. You all don't know Yahweh. That's why your mind tell you what, keep on doing it. In fact, make it a law. Make it so that everybody can do it. That's the stuff that's happening. Am I correct? But then you know when the quitting back away. You see the hypocrisy of America this week. Y'all see that big hypocritical coward move that took place this week? See, look. Give me a country. Give me a
Haiti.
Who? Haiti. I'll take Haiti for 300, Alex. Okay. If Haiti had been accused of hacking America's systems and messing with the elections and all this other stuff, bombs would have been in there, man. You'd have seen the smoke from Haiti all down in Australia, all down in Mozambique. What's the last thing down at the continent of South America? Whatever that little country down. You'd have seen the smoke. They'd have bombed the hell out of. They'd have bombed Iraq, Iran, Somalia. They went, in fact, to feed the Somalians, so they fed them with bombs in '92. Remember that? But now you say Russia interfered. Big like you, strong, muscular, country, according to the map, Russia bigger than America.
Right.
Putin is a killer, martial arts expert, no poisons, and all this different stuff. He go meet. I like the New York Post as the trash that it is, because they ran a good article this week, and I bought the paper because it caught the picture of Putin and Biden. Thank you. So much for that. You can tell I ain't vote. Anyway, caught a picture of him, and Putin had that facial expression like, what you want? That was the facial expression he had. And Biden had that, come on, man, please. The cameras is looking. Had that kind of look. And I'm glad they caught that. See, you talk big on the world stage, but I know of a man in America from Russia. And he was saying, Dave, let me tell you, David, yeah, Dave, let me tell you about the media. When things go bad in Russia, you know what they say over there? They say the Americans did it. Are y'all getting me? It's a global game they play. Anything go bad that America's intelligence community is doing to the people at home, they lie and say the Russians did it. Because the Russians, they're all involved in the New World Order. They just got different rules that they agree on and how it's going to go. When they doing something bad to their people, Americans did it. But if you notice, they'll never fight each other. The Cold War. You remember the Cold War when we were growing up? Brother Art will remember the Cold War. Brother Tim, Brother Ed, Brother Mike, Brother Lloyd, you older brothers will remember the Cold War that we had. Remember this? Remember the Cold War? Just before you get ready to fight each other? You better not knock this off. You knock it off, then it was a fight. As long as you didn't, you just stood there at each other's face. Remember that? Remember they had to lean in on each other? That was the Cold War. That's all America and Russia do. Just keep on woofing at each other. They don't want to fight. So we need to know and understand that. Prophetic footnote. Russia gonna be around long after America gone. Because Russia got to align itself with Shaitan in the kingdom age. At the end of the 1,000 years, when Shaitan is let out of that prison, the recidivist that he is, I like that word, recidivist. He go up into the north, into Gog and Magog, and he grabbed them up. He said, come here, look. They down there living in peace. The country is up, it's running, it's well established. The streets are paved with gold. It's got this and that. Let's go take it. This is how Yahweh himself is going to root out of the kingdom. You got to teach people this. In that kingdom age, it's going to be a multiplicity of nations. Yes, he's going to save Israel and the nations that are left. Yes, they're going to be in that kingdom age. Let's not overrule that, because this is how the whole world's going to be taught. And to teach anything different, you're lying. We must come to understand that. It's going to be people out of every nation, kindred, and tongue. Revelation teaches us that. But they're going to submit themselves. They got to come to Yahushua through Israel. That's why it's imperative that you keep Israel in formation. Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir.
Let's go to Isaiah 13:11 real quick. We as Yahweh's people, this has to be taught. Like I said earlier, the churches don't teach stuff like this. They ain't teaching Yahweh's law. And as my sister said earlier in the week, it is true. The churches teach lawlessness. Did you hear what I said? They teach lawlessness. They teach iniquity. Anytime you say the commandments are done away with, you ain't saying the Constitution done away with. The law of running the stop sign ain't done away with. Tax laws ain't done away with. All other stuff. Come on now. And I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity. And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. You hear Yahweh saying it? I'm going to bust it down. You are a terrorist. You are haughty. You are so high-minded with the way you do everything in this earth. I'm going to bust it down. Now, I like this. Yahweh says, I will punish the world for their evil. Let's go to Isaiah 26:10. Let favor be showed to the wicked, yet will he not learn righteousness. Wait a minute. I had a mechanic. Now this is a weird story. Mechanic worked on my truck. You know, to work on, he'd take the wheels off of it and everything. When I had the work done to the truck initially, the dealership that worked on it put a set of wheel locks on it. You got 5 lugs, well, 4 lugs and 1 wheel lock. And you needed a key and you needed an Allen wrench to get it off, what happened. So the person, the mechanic, worked on it, fixed it, did everything, got paid, and got a tip out of me. But get down the road later and look up and realize, wait a minute, where's my lock set to get the wheel off in case it ever got flat? Without that lock, you stop. So we look, myself and the brother, and we look over and we realize the lock set is gone. Never returned the key, the Allen wrench, and took all 4 of the locks off of the wheels. But you got tipped, you were treated kind, you think you're superior, you dirty little fat bastard. Man, I ain't even gonna lie to y'all, straight out the gate. I really wanted to bust his head. But I did what the Spirit let me do. I let it go. I ain't even worried about it. That can be replaced. But here's what the word says. Now pay attention to this. You white folks in America, y'all, we're not going to disrespect you, but we're not going to play with you either. Yahweh don't look like no white man. Let's get that straight. He started this earth with the original people of the earth. You despise them so much, you all changed everything. But now look at what the scripture says. Let favor be shown to the wicked, yet will he not learn righteousness. You do people right. You do well by them. You treat them kind. They still have an innate hatred in their heart for you and Yahweh. He says, now in the land of uprightness will he deal unjustly and will not behold the majesty of Yahweh. Stop right there, because I'm going to explain this. Notice it says, in the land of uprightness. This is the kingdom age. Some of them going to be spared, because the scripture says, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. You've taken people and made them slaves, and you didn't know how to live your damn self. So now you got to be subdued for 1,000 years. You got to be taught the righteousness of Yahweh. You got to be taught the Torah of Yahweh. And you're going to have to be ruled with a rod of iron. Yeah. So now you made it into the land of uprightness. This ain't the great white throne. This is the kingdom under Yahshua. You made it in. The devil is now gone. That evil spirit now is gone. Human nature is still there. Free will. You'll be given a choice in the kingdom. This is why the prophet Zechariah kept saying, if you don't come up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles, you get no rest. Why would you rebel? You're in the kingdom age. The great king is ruling now. Everything is in place. The feast days, the statutes, the Torah is now the universal law of the land. Here's some people in there. It's in their heart. They can't do bad. But human nature now won't allow them to fully submit to Yahweh. Are y'all hearing this? So 1,000 years in, as the kingdom age comes to a close, Shaitan makes parole. Yahweh lets him out. But his mind cannot change. Just like the mind of those that are his children cannot change. He go right back to thinking, the land of unwalled villages. Let us go and seize it. Are y'all understanding this? Let's get into it. So in the land of uprightness, he will deal what? So his nature ain't changed. And will not behold the majesty of Yahweh. Look, now wait a minute. Yahweh ain't come yet. 1 Corinthians 15 says, for he must reign till he put all enemies under his feet. Yahshua has to reign that 1,000 years, right? Then shall the Son also, and I'm going to get these scriptures, be subject unto the Father, that Yahweh may be what? But doesn't it say also that he is accepted? Who did put all things under. So Yahweh ain't in the equation yet. Yahweh ain't ruling in Yahshua's kingdom. He's going to let the king rule. Remember, he was a king, but he never ruled. His kingdom was not established in his lifetime because we rejected it. So now to prove that this is Yahweh's will, this time when he sends that body back, that body going to rule. Sacrifice and offering thou wouldst not, but a body hast thou prepared me. So he prepared that body to come and die for the sins of the world. He prepared that body to get up, resurrected, glorified, if you're going to use the word. It's a new body now, but it's still Yahshua. And he must reign till everything is completely subdued under the original man. Are y'all hearing that?
Yes, sir.
But then the last man, he ain't trying to get with that. So he changed everybody, made them look like him. He lied about everything, made himself great, and everybody else doo-doo. Poop, whatever. He did it. He's the best. He's the number one. I'm on earth. I did it all. I did all of this. Worship me. Ain't that what he's moving to do? So some of them get, some of them make it. Man, listen. Challenge to all the sacred name users, all the preachers of European American descent. Challenge to you. Go in the book and prove this ain't going to happen. Go in the book and prove now that there's going to be universal brotherhood without first a universal whooping. Prove it. Because ain't but one group of people have despised everybody else on the planet more than anybody else. Ain't but one group devised ways to kill off everybody else. Only one group tried to kill all the other nations. The other nation did not try to kill you. Some of them are so peaceful and passive they haven't even fought you back yet. So now you mean to tell me Yahweh's that unjust to let you do all that you've done in this earth? Now you come to the knowledge of the sacred name. Now you preach it. Now you teach it. You still over us, but yet your fathers enslaved us, did not treat us right, hated us, despised us. They taught that secretly to you. Now you know the truth, and you hide that part of Yahweh's word and think you're going in the kingdom age. Challenge. Come on out and prove it. The address is 6515 Hartford Road. Don't send no hillbilly here looking for directions and faking like you lost and all this other stuff. Just come on in. Humble yourself and come on in. First thing we're going to do to you here is discriminate. Just like you all did us. If you come here, you used to send us to the back of the bus. If you come here and you visit with us, we're going to bring you right down the front. And I'm telling you, we're going to do it. We're going to discriminate. You sent us to the back of the bus. We're going to send you to the front of the sanctuary. Because as I preach this word of Yah, I want to discern your spirit. I want to look in your face. I want to see the look on your face as we lay these scriptures in your lap. So you are more than welcome. Coronavirus notwithstanding, come on down and let's talk about it. Better yet, I'm a warrior. There's a difference between a warrior and a soldier. A soldier is waiting on orders to be given. A warrior has his instructions from heaven, and he's on the battlefield no matter where he is in the universe. So I'll take the challenge from you. Invite me. I'll come to your sanctuaries, and I'll teach it there.
Hallelujah.
So you all have taken the book from us. You flipped the script. You've lied about everything. I won't say damn near everything. You have lied. It's time you tell the truth now. You got black folks in your congregation. You need to tell them they are the true sons and daughters of the prophet. Don't keep hiding it. You can stand there with your bright red hair and red beards all you want. That's fine in Alpha Yahweh. But don't stand there and act like Moses looked like you. Don't lie to the children of Israel about that, because you'll burn for that. Right. Just tell the truth. First white man ever came to the knowledge of the name of Yah and converted to this way of life is found in the scripture. And his name is Cornelius. He was a Roman general. Don't lie about the word of Yahweh. That's painful now. You got us here in America and you got us in your midst and don't want us to wake up. What the hell are we supposed to do? Burn because you want us to? You can't stop Yahweh's word. It is inevitable that they get up. Hallelujah. And the book says they stood upon their feet and became, I like this word, an exceeding great army. America's a great army. China's a great army. Russia's a great army. But the children of Israel shall exceed that. And I know y'all don't like it. I know you don't like it. I know you don't like me saying it. True. I realize that the truth hurts. The truth only hurts those who don't want it. But I say respectfully to you that do not like this, I don't give a damn. It's the truth. I don't care that you don't like it. You need to hear the truth. Truth be told, you need to be kidnapped and handcuffed and brought to the assemblies of Yahweh, that the truth may be preached to you. You did it to us. Hey, I ain't too sure Yahweh ain't gonna rule that one out. I ain't gonna rule it out. Boko Haram was kidnapping little girls and doing whatever they want to do, whatever y'all say they were. Al Qaeda was doing it and doing that. Well, I ain't gonna rule out your Almighty Yahweh's work. The scripture does say that their great men shall come over unto you, bowing and bending unto you, and their great men shall be in chains. White folk, don't keep on laughing. Your laughing and giggling and joking days are over with. All that old Comedy Central stuff, this here ain't the Chappelle Show. Them days are over now. Somebody got to tell you all the truth. You lied about Yahweh's word because you can't send it. You cannot preach it. You cannot send it forth. So now, look at this verse careful. He said, in the land of uprightness will he deal unjustly and will not behold the presence of Yahweh.
That's right.
They'll be in the presence of Yahshua. But Yahweh, when he comes, nah, you're going to root them out. We're going to prove that before this day is over with. Let's go to Isaiah 66:13. Let's look at this. Let's look at it for what it's worth. Now, they'll get on there and they'll say, he's preaching hate. But your hate will cause you to not come nowhere near me. Your hate will cause you to view the channel and you'll monitor, you'll watch it, you'll pay attention, but you ain't going to say nothing to me face to face. See, that's how people do. That's what cowards do. That's why when a coward come up against the people of Yahweh, they got to come in record-breaking numbers, man. They got to come in the middle of the night, kick doors in, catch person totally unaware and all that. Come on, that's the stuff that they do. That's what the cowards do. But yet they think that they are heroes and warriors. No, you're killers by nature. So you're mad. Yeah, y'all ever really study how they killed Uday and Qusay? Y'all familiar with Uday and Qusay? Uday and Qusay were Saddam Hussein's sons. They were high-ranking members of his Iraqi military. But in the late 70s and going into the 80s, Iraq was a major U.S. ally in that region of the world. They built him up, built up his military. Kuwait owed the Iraqi government roughly $70 billion. And when Kuwait stopped paying on their debt, that country, they needed their money to survive. Just like, and at the behest of America, they stopped paying the debt. So like any street deal, it went bad. So Saddam went in, he sent his enforcers in. It's like you've seen the episode of Scarface. He sent his enforcers in. We need our $70 billion. So when they went in, America baited them in to go in because they had now taken Kuwait under their wing as an ally. So when they went in to collect at least $70 billion in oil from Kuwait, America jumped in, claiming that he was bullying the region of the land. This was a neighborhood dispute. There's some people from the other side of town they had nothing to do with it, just got in it and took it over. Now the evidence is even coming out. Hey, y'all, it was deeper than just going in there and fighting Iraq about the oil and war, because now they went in looking for a body of something specific, because they needed the body of a great king of ancient Babylon and wanted to test into and tap into his DNA that they might be able to resurrect a God. Are you hearing me? So now something that took place well over 25 years ago is now about to impact you and I, because they went looking for the body of Nimrod. So says their own top scientists, that says that they took this DNA from this body and all. See, this is where I get into them fights with them Afrocentrics, always running their mouth denying stuff. Nobody from the Bible even existed. This, that. Well, how you get the man's body if he didn't exist? He's mentioned in the book. He was buried. The people in the land had the culture. They knew where they put the body. The records hadn't been tainted. All of this stuff. So now all of a sudden they back over there and they trying to resurrect through DNA. They demonstrated scientifically through Jurassic Park and other stuff. Look, y'all, we've been tinkering with medicine and DNA for so long. Some of this stuff now we can gene splice and synthesize and put back and bring some of this stuff to life. So that's what's happening. Now, keep in mind, Yahshua told you in the latter days you're going to be seeing strange sights. So don't go overruling it when you start seeing stuff. What newspaper was that? USA Today a couple of weeks ago put that picture of that baby on that cover with them horns and them weird looking ears. What they call them? Hybrid children being born all across America. Come on now, what y'all do that the children being born like that? What are you now synthesizing? See, this is why y'all people can't sleep on them. And truth be told, if they will disrespect your children in the public school system by inoculating them against your wishes, then what make you think they won't inoculate you against your wishes when you go there begging them for some help? Am I making any? I ain't trying to scare you. I'm just telling you what the reality of where you are today. And if people don't pray instead of now, I ain't trying to get scientific and outthink Yahweh, because I know it ain't going to happen. I know that when I'm messing with something too high for me, I got to go away and do what we all should do. Pray that God would give us an understanding of it. That when we get the understanding, rule number one, you ain't going to go against Yahweh's rule. He did not sit down and have a powwow in heaven with the angels and decide, hey, look, y'all, what y'all think we should do? You think we're going to do it? It is his will. He is the self-existent one. He made all of us. You, me, I, them, the Malachim, everything. He made us all. So he didn't have to sit down and consult with anybody. So today, we don't pay it no attention. As one whom his mother comforted, so will I comfort you. This is Isaiah 66:13. You shall be comforted in Jerusalem. Notice, Yahweh's city of peace. I don't know Jerusalem. Hell, Jerusalem. Y'all have changed so much now that the people's hope is lost sometimes now through false definitions. Look at that. You shall be comforted in Jerusalem. Okay, when you think of Jerusalem, you think of a city with some tanks and some white people bombing somebody. Tell me you don't. Yes. Now, when somebody say it like it ought to be said, you shall be comforted in Jerusalem, Yahweh's city of peace. The city hasn't known a day's peace since the peace breaker stole it. I ain't covering that up. You stole the land. You went there and lied and bullied your way. We're chosen people. We're this, that, and that. You stink to high heaven. You ain't chosen for nothing other than mischief.
Tell the church.
That's anti-Semitic. That's it. I'm done with his ass.
Yeah, I know y'all gonna all look at me. Did he? Yeah, he did. Because you know that's what they thinking. Yes. Yeah, among other things. There's this word they like to use, but they know certain people in the room, they like, I don't think I better say that one. That word there, that'll get me a fist to the jaw and some feet. And yes, it will. That's the nuclear bomb of disrespect. You can do and say what you want to say and do to us and all this stuff. But I'm giving you fair warning. That word is the nuclear bomb of disrespect. Don't do it to me. I ain't gonna be. You better pray before you say. You better pray. Y'all, please restrain him. I'm getting ready to call him one. Please restrain him. You better pray hard and hope he answers your prayer. But see, there's a limit to what we're gonna take in this age, and we got scripture to back it up. Scripture says Judah gonna fight also in that day and time. Judah gonna get tired of it. And I say to you, black men, if you ain't got no nerve, no strength, you better get some from somewhere because you're gonna need it. You understand? Yes, sir. Little white boy did that to me last week. Start playing straight out the gate. I had my little glasses on. I said, all right, now look, check this out. This your only warning. I don't play no games. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He stopped. No, don't play with me. See that starting that disrespect crap? I'm old enough to be your father. And I let him know straight out there, don't do it. Don't play. And I took them glasses off. Now, taking the glasses off wasn't for me to be able to see. Taking the glasses off to let you know I feel the same way you feel. And if you're ready to swing, ain't no obstruction there, because we're going to swing together. I felt that. I don't play the board. So my truck looks better than yours. Yours is newer than mine. Then I realized, wait a minute, that ain't even a truck. That ain't even a real truck. That's a Ford Ranger. That's a half a truck. Man, get out of here. See, people don't like when you have a sense of humor like they do. You measure material possession. Come on, man. And both of them come out the earth. At the end of it all, we both gonna die. You ain't gonna take the trucks with you. You ain't saying I'm measuring. Yours is a 2021. Oh, mine. Come on, man. My truck probably older than you. Go sit down. This world has to be brought into judgment in order for the righteousness to pursue itself now. When you see this, your heart shall rejoice. Did you hear what he said? When Yahweh comforts you in his city, you shall rejoice, and your bones shall flourish like an herb. And the hand of Yahweh shall be known toward his servants, and his indignation toward his enemies. So how can white people be the chosen people of Yahweh when you've destroyed the whole earth? Within a 500-year span of time, marking the world with the coming of Columbus, white people did it. Europe and all their multinational corporations, within a 500-year span of time, you've gone all down in Africa, South America, and everywhere. You raped the earth of all of its resources. You poisoned the waters and the seas with your chemicals. You poisoned the air. You've done it within a 500-year span of time. It's never been done in the history of the world. You've destroyed all the earth, the air, the food, the water, the trees. And now you're working on the people. How the hell can you all be chosen? He says he's got indignation towards his enemy. So I want to know who's going to be the enemies of the Almighty. Who you say? That's the little black man? That little black man riding around in your neighborhood making all that noise on a dirt bike with the wheel in it. That's the enemy of Yahweh? Who he oppressing? Whose land he took? Whose sacred name did he take out the Torah? That's the enemy? Come on, man. They teaching you wrong. For behold, Yahweh will come with fire. I like that part. Yahweh will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with the flames of fire. Y'all think he playing with you. You think you so bad in the earth. We're America. We're going to be stronger than ever. Good. I want to see you stronger than ever when he comes. That way he'll show you just how weak you truly are. Hallelujah. We are sick of oppression now. They oppress you so bad, they done switched it up. Here's the one. This the slickest thing I see. Watch Amazon pull it off for y'all. Whew. Ain't no need to even tell them about it. Read it to them. What's the day? Juneteenth? Juneteenth. They disrespecting you the way they say it. Because, anyway, they freed the slaves in 1863. I think was when the edict went down, right? But the last of us didn't learn about it until 1865. Is that how it go? Or do I have my date wrong?
No, you're not right.
They learned about it 2 years later, in other words. So now, the white folk that had them knew. Because you know how they do. They commune with one another. They communicate. I watched them in class not communicate by communicating. And I was like, this is deep. All of them knew and had the answers and was giving answers to each other. It was sophisticated. I said, how in the wow. But all of the supposed people of color, the 2 Hispanic people, 1, 2, 3, 4, the 4 black men, we didn't catch what was going on. The rest of the people in the room was white. It was 15 people in the room. The rest of them was white. They communicating by not communicating. Are y'all hearing me? So anyway, now let's see if I got this straight. I may not have saved it. Didn't save it. Sorry, I can still tell you about it. Netflix, give me bring you the history of African Americans from the African American Museum of Modern Art by having a little white country western singer host the show. Juneteenth. See, only in America can you pull something off like that. You're going to talk about black history and put a white face on the cover of it and everybody be happy. Now, Juneteenth works itself out now as a federal holiday where, check this out, this is the Larry Bird, Michael Jordan thing all over again. White people get paid for doing what they already did anyway. Are y'all checking it? It's a federal holiday. They get the day off with pay for enslaving you and then letting you go and not telling you. Who benefiting from that? Am I making any sense? Yes. Let me tell it again. They gonna get a paid holiday, whether they like it or not. Shut up, you're getting paid, you hunky bastard. You're getting paid for nothing. Oh, okay. All right, I'm all right with it then.
I work at a VA institute in the IT department, and that was the top discussion about getting paid day off. Nothing about slavery.
Getting paid and a day off.
They was trying to make sure they get that day. Everyone's going to be into suit on Monday coming.
Ain't that deep?
They were talking hard on it.
So if we go back just 2 years before our people found out about it, white folks was getting paid for that day already.
Yeah. That's all they discussed.
And our people happy. Happy knowing and understanding something like that. Man, are we, man, I don't understand it, man. See, we as a people sometimes, man, just keep going for the okie doke. I don't need to see Yahweh's.
Holiday, they ain't raised the gas prices.
Say it again.
It ain't even a legit holiday yet, but they ain't raised the gas prices.
Yeah, but hey, boy.
That's true.
For the family at home, they say it ain't even a legitimate holiday because the gas prices didn't go up. Now, I done said that online. Gas gonna go up by 59 cents tomorrow. Hey, they gonna get you. Anyway. Come on, Israel. Let's get into this. For by fire and by sword will Yahweh plead with all flesh. And the slain of Yahweh shall be many. See that part? Who is he planning on killing? The slain of Yahweh shall be many. They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves. You know how they do. They got the diets now. They teach you how to eat. They got Bill Gates got more farmland right now than anybody in America. I hope your wife and the attorneys drag you through the court system for so long that when it's all over, I hope the only one of you get no money but the lawyers. That's how bad I despise him. I know what he's about. Anyway, these people purify themselves in the midst of the garden, behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh and abomination. In other words, y'all hide what y'all do. You eat. You know they die now. Their diet consists of anything. They eat and everything. Little Asian man jumped on our channel one day. Now I know them brothers listening, and I'm gonna say this, and I don't care. You from, I don't even know where you're from. I just know when I looked at it, I saw you from East Asian somewhere, and they talking about stop the Asian hate. But the man jumped on our channel, rebuking us, telling us we dumb, fake church, and you Christians, you this, you that, and all this. But as soon as we went back at him with the scripture and told him, shut your mouth, go and sit down and eat a dog like you've been doing. Now he got offended. Now, I'm the one typed that comment to go eat a dog, go eat a mouse like you've been doing. And then the administrator went right back at, now you got deeply offended, but you say you are Yisrael. See how it works out? Everybody come and pump their chest up against you. The darker your skin is, everybody pump their chest up against you. Everybody. Whole world. Y'all, we got to knock the whole world down. I don't feel bad because my skin is dark. Me growing up and having the father I had, I always wished I was a little bit darker. That's why I don't mind working outside, because I get dark. They teased me a couple weeks ago, brother, saying, boy, you got black. You been out there in that sun. I said, that's good. That's good. That's good. You see who doing all the work. I'm right out there in the sun. It was so hot on the sky one day, wasn't nobody on the sky but me and the sun. I think the sun had on a hard hat and some boots. It was just that hot. He says, for I know their works and their thoughts. And it shall come that I will gather all nations and tongues, and they shall come and see my glory. Yahweh ain't playing. You're going to see he is the great one. Hallelujah. And I will set a sign among them. Listen to what he said. And I will send those that escape of them to the nations, to Tarshish, to Pearl, to Lud, that draw the bow, and to Tubal, and Javan. Now, if you start looking at some of these nations, these are white nations. I ain't even going into the discussion of who they are. To the isles that are far off, that have not heard my fame, neither have seen my glory. And they shall declare my glory. Where? Among the Gentiles. Among the Gentiles. Now, didn't the apostles go do that? You all got to stop lying. How could the apostle Paul, how could you all name them? Tell me how you find 4 men named Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John in the land of Israel. Anyway. How you going to find these Hebrew men now? And the ones that Abiyah Baruch to go forward and take the word. You start reading about the Apostle Shaul's trips up in Corinth, Ephesus, Galatia, Asia. He starts naming all these nations to where he took the word of Yahweh, which raises the question. How in the world could the apostles have been white people when African people, if you want to use the word, were leaving the continent of Africa, taking the word of Yahweh up into Europe? How in the world y'all gonna make them all white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed little fellas when y'all wasn't even native to that part of the world? So now Yahweh says here, he will send them to the Gentiles and declare my glory among the Gentiles. So when y'all got the word, you were awed. You needed help. You were downtrodden, you were poor, you were dirty, you were raggedy, you were hungry, you were naked. We know your history. You received the word with joy. You converted. But after so long of a time, you got above yourself and you started taking command of it. We got above ourselves, professing ourselves to be wise. The scripture says we became fools. We changed the glory of Yahweh into the corruptible image of man and four-footed beasts and creatures. This is all the stuff you find on them caves that we got down in ancient Egypt and other places. We made the creator a man. A bull with a man's head and a beard. We made him a man with muscles like he'd been at Planet Fitness and a bird head on him and all this stuff. Yahweh said that's what we did. The history of the world proves we did it. And they shall bring, notice, if they go into the Gentiles, what are the Gentiles going to do? They shall bring your brethren for an offering unto Yahweh out of all the nations. How you going to bring them if you don't have them in your possession? How you going to bring them if you ain't the global policy makers and the planners? See, the poor man ain't going to... Let these young brothers plot, start talking about kidnapping Joe Biden to take him to the kingdom of Yahweh. It ain't happening, right? So when Yahweh busts this down, and the people that have you in their possession, Yahweh, I had these were my servants, these I adopted, I saved them out of the world so that they wouldn't die in the famine. Oh, you're going to bring us to Yahweh as an offering. This is what the book says you're going to do. And if you all know what you're looking at, UNICEF and all that other stupid stuff you see them doing, this is the start of it now. You hearing me?
Yes, sir.
Sally Struthers. Or Fields, whoever, whichever one she was. She played the Arch Bunker's daughter. You can feed the children for 50 cents a day. Well, some of you all sitting on 40 and 50 billion. If you can feed them children for 50 cents a day, then you getting up off for 20 billion ain't even gonna hurt you. You done stole 50. So you can feed everybody. Nah, you know my favorite little white woman, Jeff Bezos' ex-wife. Because he cheated on her. He disrespected her. And she won a lot of money in the lawsuit against him and the divorce. And the money don't mean nothing to her. And she pledged to give it all away until the vault is empty. So you know he mad. Huzzy. Yes. You know how they do. They got those little words and phrases. I don't like her, F her. Well, you do right by people in the world, you won't go through it. That's good. I pray y'all should give it all away. Just like she said, keep your word. You can tell when money don't mean something to a lot of people. When it don't mean nothing to them, they don't care. You see them walk around, man, they won't even comb their hair. Just come out there, a little dirty corduroys. It'd be 97 degrees. They got corduroys and a sweat. How you doing? Everything well? Good. We're going to donate some money. Dig that up. We're going to plant some flowers there. We're going to, this is a memorial to little Tiffany Walker who got shot here. We're going to do, who are you? Well, you're going to college. So, well, I can't even read. Don't worry about it. You're going to college, don't stop. They do stuff like that. And you're going to do more. You stole it. That's right. I had a little man do something for me early in the week. And he said, you do me a favor. He said, man, I love you like you wouldn't believe. He said, you do me a favor. So you always look out for the man beneath you. He said, never have a whole loaf of bread and you not make the poor man and you a sandwich. I said, well, I got it. I'm gone. I'm going to run with it. He said, yeah, you do that. Made a lot of sense. He did something for me. He didn't have to do it. He did it because he liked me. I done known the man over 30 years. He said, nah, I love you like you wouldn't believe. That's why I always try to do things for brothers and sisters that are less fortunate than myself. You can't do everything for everybody. I want y'all to hear me now, you know. Little brother over there, I gave him $2. Just gave it to him. General Pun, he trying to wash the windows. Truck sitting up high in the ground. He out there with a bottle and a squeegee. Tell me, yo man, let me hit them windows. Let me get that. I said, bro, come on, be real. How you gonna get these windows? How you gonna get up here? I'm gonna stand right here. I said, you can't get it from right here. I've tried that at home. I stand right there and can't reach the center. How you gonna do it? He said, well, you got any change? You just I said, I ain't got no change, but I had this right here for you. I was waiting on you to walk up. He said, thank you, bro. He bowed. I said, no, don't bow. I said, just, I love you, man. You be safe. Don't get hit out here. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. That's what he said. I like that was business dealing. You didn't think about what he said. I'll see you tomorrow. I mean, if I can't wash him again tomorrow, give me $2 more. He's a businessman. Anyway. And they should bring your brother for an offering unto Yahweh out of all the nations, upon horses, and in chariots, and in litters, and upon mules, and upon swift beasts, like jaguars, to my Kodesh mountain, Jerusalem, saith Yahweh, as the children of Israel bring an offering in a clean vessel. Now you see why I always get on you about how we supposed to live? Right. They're going to bring us to Yahweh as an offering. And we better present our vessels as a living sacrifice. We better bring ourselves as a clean offering. Does that make sense, Israel? That's all y'all was asking for. He ain't asking for that hypocrisy. I know that I am righteous because I have a brand new Torah. I just bought it. That ain't what y'all was looking for. The book can be brand new and you still don't know none. Sometimes people got the book older than their grandmama and they still don't know nothing. What them doing, mate? It's got to be within us. And I will also take of them for priests and for Levi, saith Yahweh. You see that? I'm going to stop right there. He said he's going to take the ones that you hate and despise. Going to take them for priests, for Levites. You all hate us right now. You think we don't know now. A black man as a preacher is the most hated, despised thing on the planet for 2 reasons. Number one, if he got the truth gonna make them mad anyway because they got to walk upright. And number two, because they ain't trying to tell the truth in Yahweh's word. All I'm preaching the same old message. The Lord shall thus blesseth thee. Come on, man. T.D. Jakes, really? Can I really take you serious? You got your claws in Hollywood. Hollywood got the claw. Woman, thou art loosed. Oh, come on, man. This the stuff Creflo. Now Creflo, out of all of them, Creflo don't play with him. He tell him straight out the gate he about that money. He straight out the gate. See, we renamed him straight out. We ain't waste no time playing with all that old Creflo. I ain't never heard nobody in the history of my life named Creflo. Have you? Creflo. Yeah, it's my friend here. This is James, Frank, Pete, and Creflo, my man. You ain't never heard. Come on, man. All that money raking up, call him by his name. Grab your dollar. That's how it's going down. And people be sitting back happy there. What's the one with the Ferrari? Yeah, Osteen. $525,000 2-seater Ferrari. Now, if that ain't the epitome of selfishness, I don't know what is. You bought a 2-seater car. You spent $500,000 on it. And you probably don't even want your wife riding with you in it no way. Right? $500,000 car. Do you know how many people you could have fed? Do you know how many houses you could have built? Even if you just build poor little inner city house, do you know how much housing you could have bought and built for somebody? Come on, man. And you want to tell me Yahweh commanded men to live like that? You see more and more of that preachers now out grabbing money, man, living. As my father used to say, high on the hog. Man, Yahweh going to bring them down. He going to burn them. Zechariah 14:13 tells the story of how the children of Israel are going to have to fight in the battle of Armageddon. They ain't going to be playing. They got to gather their wealth, their silver, their gold, and their jewelry. They got to get all of that. Because, see, the world took that. I don't even think I'm going to read that. Y'all write that down. It's for Zechariah chapter 14, verse 13 through 21. Now, notice this now. Verse 16, I'm going to read. For he does say, and it shall come to pass, that everyone that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem shall go up from year to year to worship the King, Yahweh of hosts, and to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. You hear that?
Yeah.
How come y'all ain't put that on the calendar? We'll make a national holy day, put that one up there. Put that up. See, when you are in leadership positions, you're responsible for a lot of stuff. Maxine Waters, all them people over there, you know, Hillbilly Camilla or Chameleon, whatever. You stand up and advocate stuff like this. Say, nah, y'all, well, the biblical holy days, if you don't know the word, just say the biblical holy days are Sukkot, Shavuot, Pesach. Whatever order you list them. Tell people now on these days, we're going to shut the whole country down. Everybody going to obey y'all. You could just say that. People, they might not even know why. Yeah, you could pay them. They ain't working. Give them that. Well, what them to make? You got the money. You ain't doing it, printing it up anyway. Think about what I say. Anybody in the room with $100 bill in their pocket right now? Anybody look? I ain't gonna ask for it. I was trying to make a demonstration. Anybody got $1 in their pocket? Wait a minute. Never. I use my own dollar. If I don't have nothing, I always got a 1. Always got that. There you go. Anybody got a $100 bill? I'm gonna ask again. You got a $100 bill in your pocket? May I hold it for a moment? Little Jeremiah back there anywhere? Well, let somebody run it up front to me real quick. For the record, now this is Brother Danny. He has loaned me a $100 bill for 30 seconds. Thank you, sir. This is Brother Danny's $100 bill here. This is Elder Johnson's $1 bill here. Now, just messing with you. Well, he said he can be watching me now. $100 bill, $1 bill, $100 bill. It costs 3 cents to make them both. 3 pennies to make them both.
What they weigh?
They weigh 1 gram a piece. They weigh 1 gram. Don't ask me another question. All right, somebody might ask me, all right, well, how many shreds of ink in it and all that? Anyway, they weigh 1 gram. Cost 3 cents to make them both. So you mean tell me you couldn't pay the people and give the people there? Make sure he get that back. Wait a minute. Get my fingerprints off. Thank you, dear brother. Now, I'm using all of that just to make a simple demonstration. It only costs 3 cents to make it. Where America's economy gets in trouble is because, see, they got to pay the bankers to print it up. That's what got John Kennedy killed. He printed out $5 billion in U.S. currency, and he bucked against the international banking community. His father told him, don't do it. You flood the economy with that, you do that, they'll kill you. That's what got Kennedy killed. Wasn't no assassination, conspiracy, and all that. He printed that money against their will because they weren't making no money off of all that was printed and put in circulation. You get paid only when the Federal Reserve go to them and get the right to print it up at 3 cents a piece, and the interest rate on it brings it up to 27 cents a piece. You can see where they make money off of printing up money, okay? Let's not play them cheap. Something that costs 3 cents a piece, they end up paying interest on it. You and I pay the debt off at 27 cents on each dollar. Let's get that straight. Highway robbery. So be careful getting them bank loans and all that other stuff, because the truth of the matter, it really is. If you can go and rent a house, you go and borrow somebody's money to rent the house, keep in mind that you are renting the money to rent the house. Think about what I'm saying, because that's really what's happening. You go borrow some money from somebody, you are renting the money because you got to give it back and give them interest on that. Okay? There's no other way to see that. Just know for certain. That's how they get you. Yahweh's law teach you better than that. You don't loan to your brother or sister on no type of interest whatsoever. You don't do it, and you don't stand there waiting to get it back. Give them out. Kick it out. Give. You might take a loss. That's all right. Yahweh will bless you. We're afraid to give even to the poor. The scripture says, he that lendeth to the poor, lendeth to Yahweh, and he will repay him. I never forget one day I gave a poor man my last $3. He said, man, I ain't going to take your last. I said, brother, I ain't going. I'm going home anyway. I got a full tank of gas. I can make it home. That's all that matters to me. Got home, wasn't nowhere to park in front of the house. I'm driving my wife's car, so I park a block away, down the street. Get out the car, and I take 4 steps, and I look up and see some money on the ground. Bend down and pick it up, open it up. It was a $20 bill and a $10 bill. And look how I got blessed just that fast. I gave away 3 and picked up 30. And then took the 30 and put it in the offering box a couple days later. Y'all, people worry about financial stuff and all of this stuff in this lifetime. The thing you need to worry about more than anything is cleaning your soul, readying your soul for the salvation of Yahweh. You get funds and things like that. He says, if your riches increase, set not your heart upon it. That type of stuff is just for Yahweh. He made all the world to benefit his people. We threw that back in Yahweh's face. Are you hearing me? That's why we're here today. Right now, you're in Baltimore, you're in America, wherever we are. We went into captivity. We were scattered. Our foreparents went through some of the most horrendous activities known to humankind. And the world still don't want to acknowledge it. I ain't pressed about them acknowledging us. I'm pressed about Yahweh acknowledging us. Do you hear me? That's why I push you all. Teach this to your children. Teach your children. Make them walk up clean before Yahweh. When they get older, they're adults. You can't do nothing about it. But while they're children, teach them the dignity of obeying Yahweh and teach them who he is. That way the world can't take salvation from you. It's like something you learn. Once you learn it, can't nobody take it from you. Right or wrong? You now know it. It can't take it from you. You teach your children about Yahweh. That way they'll be Baruch. You'll be up in that kingdom, because see, you get to that lake and people in that lake burning, as Isaiah 66 says, you ain't even have no love for them, looking down, seeing your family members. I don't care how close they are to you. If you made it in and they didn't, you ain't gonna have that same connection now. The book says you shall see their worm, for their worm shall never die. You'll look upon them and see them in the lake burning. Come on, you can be standing, I kept telling Cousin Charlie he should have just came with the service with me. But now, look at him. I can't even help him. You ain't going through that. Come on now. And you're going to get to that great white throne if you make it like you ought to. He said the former things should not come into mind.
Hallelujah.
Let's go back 1 Corinthians 15:21 real quick. You got to show this stuff to Yahweh's people so that they see it in the word and get excited enough to keep on living. But don't nobody want to say it. 1 Corinthians 15:21. Listen to this. For since by man came death, by man came also the resurrection of the dead. For as in Adam all die, even so in Hamashiach shall all be made alive. But every man in his own order. Hamashiach the first fruits. Afterward, they that are Hamashiach at his coming. You see that? Now, he shifts gears. Those that are the Messiahs, they will be there with him at his coming. Now, in the next verse, he jumps 1,000 years into the future. He's describing something now. Then cometh the end. Wait a minute, we just set the kingdom up. Man, it's so beautiful. Now it's over. Then cometh the end, when he shall have delivered up the kingdom to Elohim, even the Father. When he shall have put down all rule, America, Russia, China, wicked nations, wicked leaders of Africa, South America, Canada, you name them, Europe, don't forget Europe, all of wherever the wicked rule, he's going to put it down. Yahshua going to rule the whole earth. When he shall put down all authority. Listen, for he must reign. Did he reign yet? No. For he must reign till he put all enemies under his feet. Am I correct? Right. The last enemy that should be destroyed is death. Anybody ever seen death? Anybody ever held death? Anybody ever had a conversation? You ever choked death? You ever ate dinner with death? So now, whatever it is, it's so spiritual, it's an enemy to man. He's got to put that even under his feet. Stop death. If you stop death, what do you have? Life. For he must reign till he put all enemies under his feet. So now the last enemy shall be destroyed is death. For he had put all things under his feet. But when he says all things are put under him, it is manifest, that is, it's made known, he is accepted. That's E-X-C-E-P-T-E-D, accepted. Everything is there except the one that did put all things under him. Right? And when all things shall be subdued unto him, then shall the Son also, look now, then shall the Son also himself be subject unto him that did put all things under him, that Yahweh may be Lord of all. See that? Now this is Yahweh's great white throne. At the end of Yahshua's 1,000-year reign, here comes Almighty Yahweh, who once man sinned, he stopped dealing with man. After that, you read in the lost books now, Adam always kept saying the word of Yahweh. He told Hawa, did you hear what he said unto us? Did you? The word wasn't a Torah. It wasn't a Bible. The word was a person, because now man had transgressed. He couldn't stand in the Kodesh presence of that eternal, everlasting spirit of Yah. So again, a body thou hast prepared. So it was Yahshua that kept talking to him in the garden, that kept instructing him, that kept picking him up by the hand, that kept delivering him. Are y'all understanding this? So now, remember Isaiah, what did it say? In the land of uprightness will he not deal fairly. So they made it into the kingdom age. But now, let's go to Revelations 20:4. So now they done made it in the kingdom age. You ain't going to do your same old stupid stuff all over again. You ain't getting off the Mayflower in the kingdom age with your little buckle on your shoe and your big old black hat and start killing black women and children and babies. You're not going to do that no more. Okay? You got to tell them that. That day is coming to an end. It's over now. Revelation 20:4. And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and the judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahshua, and for the word of Yahweh, which should not receive to worship the beast, neither his image, neither received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with Hamashiach
1,000 years.
1,000 years. But the rest of the dead lived not again until the 1,000 years was finished. This is the first resurrection. See how it works? If you do right, you make it into Yahshua's kingdom, you're in the first resurrection. Blessed and Kodesh is he that had part in the first resurrection. On such, the second death hath no power. But they shall be the priests of Yahweh and of Hamashiach, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. See how it works? And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison, and shall go out to deceive the nations that are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. Now, if you go to Ezekiel chapter 38, starting at the 1st through the 14th verse, you pick up on this story with more intimate details of how they're going to go when the devil is free. He's going up into Europe. right there to Russia. Moscow. If you put a ruler on a map, find Jerusalem, put a ruler down on the map, and just draw a straight line up from Jerusalem, you'll end up in Moscow. Magog, right there in Russia. This is where the devil's going. He's familiar. Familiarity breeds contempt. Ain't no place like home. He going home. Get his homeboys to look. They down there living the life, man. You hear it? So now he wants to come take the land. And shall go out and deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. This is not the battle of Armageddon. Armageddon starts at the beginning of Yahshua's reign, when he makes all the nations mad, angry. They're arguing over the mark of the beast, over the unfair distribution of the earth's wealth and resources, land, and all that. So they battle. He wipes out the majority of the nations. He spares some out of every nation. Israel is in the kingdom. They're ruling. They're teaching the nations how to live. Everybody's there. The Gentiles now have free will. You haven't received the Ruach yet. You're just in your bodies in free will like man was in the garden. You have the right. You got to make a choice. Again, if you don't keep the feast day, it's a plain and simple choice. They're not going to be causing no ruckus and no uprising, no rebellion, climbing and scaling the walls, setting up gallows, talking about hanging Yahshua and all the other stuff you saw them do on January 6th. But they will be there and given a right in that body to just simply make a choice. Will I obey Yahweh? Will I come up every year and honor him? Well, in the event they don't. And they went up on the breadth of the earth, and encompassed the camp of the Kedushim round about, the beloved city. And fire came down from Yahweh out of heaven and devoured them. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are. Now, this beast and this false prophet, you go to Revelation 13, you start picking up that there are two beasts. Revelation 13, he talks, his opening verse says, and I stood upon the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the earth. Hold your point right there in 21. I'm going to turn back because I want to make a point in 13. Okay, 13:1. He says, I saw a beast rise up out of the sea. Notice where it came from now. The sea, meaning among the unorganized masses of the people. The waters, the people. This is where this beast rose up from, right? You look at verse 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Notice, he come up like a lamb, speaking soft, gently, meek. Is not Yahshua the Lamb? He didn't threaten when he was persecuting all. He didn't come out, oh, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to do. He was very humble. He took the torture stick. Am I correct? Yes, so now here come this beast trying to emulate him, coming peacefully. And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him. But look what he does. He causes the earth and them that dwell in it to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. This is where you got to understand. The second beast is a religious ruler. That's why the scripture mentions here in Revelation 21, the beast and the false prophet. Still two beasts, but now it identifies one because the false prophet, which is the second beast, is going to tell you all the first beast got such power, you need to really make an image to him because he is the Almighty in the flesh. Now, that ain't what they said just yet. Wait them out a little bit. Give them a little bit of time in the earth. Old girl got to kick the bucket before this thing can emerge. Are y'all hearing what I just said? They ain't rushing it, but they laid back anticipating it, patiently waiting on her to kick the bucket. In other words, now it's your demise, your end is come. But this your moment too, this your crowning moment, this is what you live for. So now you realize, well, once I get there, I ain't got that long to go. So though you've been anticipating it, now it's coming, you ain't in such a hurry to have it come to fruition. You see what I'm saying? Because it ain't going to last but a full 7 years according to Yahweh's word. This is why Israel has to know things like this and got to really be able to teach it among themselves. It ain't everything you're going to learn ain't for the whole world because the whole world ain't taking everything. Are you hearing me? The whole world ain't for Yahweh's kingdom. They ain't for seeing Yahshua reign. They talk like they are. All of those stuff. Jesus reigns. Yeah, shut up. If you really believed in that, you know the first step to true belief? You come to learn that his name ain't even Jesus. You see? So the more you come to the knowledge of the truth, you're going to drop any and everything that ain't false, that ain't truth. You're going to drop all falsehood, right? So I talked with a preacher. He was like, yes, well, in Jesus' house, we this, that, and other. So I said, well, brother, can I ask you a question? Have you ever heard of Yahshua the Messiah? Well, no, I can't rightly say that I have. I said, well, let me tell you something real quick. That man you call Jesus does not have a right to the throne of the Almighty. His son has to sit on that throne. He said, well, that's what we mean. That's what we mean when we say Jesus. I said, well, actually, you don't. Jesus has been put in to usurp Yahshua. Now, if the apostles and the prophets were all speaking Hebrew, and they were reading out of the Old Testament because the New Testament was what they were testifying to, but it hadn't been fully written, how could they have been preaching Jesus when you can't say Jesus in the Hebrew language? And he said, well, yeah, you got a point there. That makes sense. But he wouldn't go no further. So now, if nothing else is ever said to that man, in Judgment Day, there's a question that's going to come up. Did you not know my name? Did you not have a conversation with one of my children? He told you about my name. A lot of people don't know they're getting a testimony against themselves just hearing the word of Yahweh. Everybody, even in the second day, ain't coming in for salvation. Some people are coming in and here, in other words, they claim they're searching, right? They really want to be saved. They really want the truth. Sometimes you want something, but then it ain't what you think once you get it. You ever did that? You ever want a pair of shoes so bad, then you get them and get them home, and you know what? They ain't even really all that. Yeah, I'm going to ask y'all again. Yeah, oh, y'all looking at me like, never been through that. No. You ever wanted some food as a child? You want so much of it, then your mother and father give it to you. Now all of a sudden you full. And parents, you know them old school parents, you gonna eat that. I know my mother, she had a phrase. You'll eat it before it eats you. I don't know what that means. Yeah, old folk, you people wondering why people having dinner for breakfast. That came from our ancestors, them old folk. Don't eat it all here. You get up, you gonna have that in the morning for breakfast. Think, I want them pancakes. Nah, you gonna pancake that steak and egg you had for dinner yesterday. You gonna pancake that. Today we just throw stuff away. Our children, I don't want it. Oh, what do you want? I ain't come up like that. No. What do you want for breakfast? You ate what they put on that table. That's why children ain't no good today. They get choice of everything. Please. Our parents had this experience. My father said, do you want me to mash your mouth? You know, what does mashing of the mouth mean? Yeah, well, you get hit real quick. Pap, shut up. Thus, the mashing of the mouth. Today, there's another word for it. What they call it, parents? There you go. That's what they call it today. Child abuse. Child abuse. You can't even say nothing. Boy, stop that. Don't you talk to him like that. Right? That's how they do child abuse. That's why the children are so offhand, out of hand, just off the chain. I was looking at a man in the store the other day, he stepped on a little boy's finger. I'm thinking to myself, woo, seen that one coming. You know, everybody's a prophet after the fact. Soon something, y'all knew that was going to happen. Oh, shut up. You knew it, you should have told him, boy, move your finger. That little man there wears size 13. Move your I didn't say nothing. I'm like, I'm over here. I'm in this line. That man stepped on his little finger. Ow! Well, that's how the world going to be. They're going, ow! When Yahweh comes. Y'all getting sick of this now. Back to Revelations 20. As I wrap this up, we need to understand something. 20 and 11. And I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before Yahweh. And the books were open, and another book was open, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books, according to their works. And the sea gave up the dead which were in it. Remember them all little wicked people on stuff like the Titanic, or the men that went down in them old Viking wars and the ships and World Wars I and II, all them dead bodies in the oceans around the world? Guess what? They got to get up. They got to answer for their sins too, just like any and everybody else. And the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in there. Can you imagine people dying in the midst of a fire, nuclear, a bomb? They were sent for a bomb coming, just fire, just obliterate them. Death and hell, they died a death, a hell of a life, didn't they? Now still got to come back and answer for what they may have done in this lifetime. And they were judged, every man according to their works. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. And who got power to cast death and hell? There you go. This is the second death. And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. See how it works? So where that white privilege going to be at in that day? You have to preach things like this. You got to tell them. You can't get full, true, universal brotherhood, whatever it is, until Yahshua come. Because right now, they will fake you out. They will act like they with you and act like they, man, come on, man. We get deceived every step of the way. I don't know what more to say about us. Let's back up real quick. I want to go about this prophecy concerning the Messiah. Because, see, something we need to understand. 2 Samuel chapter 7. Let's get this in here real quick. I mentioned this earlier. Ain't no need to close out without bringing this back up. Pick this story up. This is so beautiful. A lot of times we read stuff in the scripture, but we really don't see into it until somebody start breaking words and things down. That's the job of Yahweh's messengers, wherever they are. And it came to pass, when the king sat in his house, and Yahweh had given him rest round about from all his enemies. Now, this is interesting. Look at the succession of steps. He's sitting in his house now, as you all will call it, chilling. Kingdom is at peace. Ain't no enemy bucking on him, right? The king said unto Nathan the prophet, see now how I dwell in the house of cedar, but the ark of Yahweh dwells within those curtains. And Nathan said to the king, in other words, he know him well, he know what he's thinking, go and do all that is in your heart, for Yahweh is with you. And it came to pass that night that the word of Yahweh came unto Nathan, saying, go and tell my servant David. Now notice, Nathan was a prophet. He's right there beside the king. He said, wait a minute, you go back. Go tell my servant David. Thus saith Yahweh, shall you build me an house to dwell in? Whereas I have not dwelt in any house since the time that I brought up the children of Israel out of Egypt, even to this day, but have walked in a tent and in a tabernacle. Now ain't that a father? Ain't that beautiful? That's what a father does. He provides for everyone in the household. He'll leave himself off. He ain't worrying about himself. I'm watching all the brothers tell me, well, fellas, just get prepared for Father's Day, another day to get nothing. That's what the brothers nationwide are thinking, you know. Hey, well, you got this new group of fathers. They rebellious now too. They rebelling. Brothers say, well, if she gives you tools and hand tools for Father's Day, then on Mother's Day you better get her a mop and a broom. Fair exchange is no robbery. That's what the brother told me earlier in the week. And I said to myself, fair exchange is no robbery. He had never used scripture. Anyway, she get you power tools, you get her a mop and a broom. Yeah. Yahweh, as the Father, provided for Yisrael. He wasn't worried about what he dwelled in. He provided. But David was thinking, it was beautiful to have a place for Yahweh to dwell in. In the places wherein I have walked with all the children of Israel, spake I a word with any of the tribes of Israel whom I commanded to feed my people Israel, saying, why build ye me not a house of cedar? In other words, have I ever asked y'all, why y'all ain't built me a house out of fine cedar? Now therefore, so shalt thou say unto David my servant, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, I took you from the sheepcote, from following the sheep, to be ruler over my people, over Israel. And I was with you whithersoever you went, and have cut off all your enemies out of your sight. And I have made you a great name, like unto the name of great men that are in the earth. Now, Yahweh did do that. People call King David's name to this day. They talk about him and his excursions, his war battle. So he is a great man. They mention his name, don't they?
Yes, sir.
Do they mention David Johnson all over the earth for something great he did? No. Y'all looking like y'all was really stuck for an answer. Y'all, well, the answer is no. Okay, no, they don't praise me. They don't need to. But David is mentioned among the great men of the earth, right? You hear names like Samson, you think, yeah, they mentioned that. I ain't going no further. You know all the great men. Moreover, I will appoint a place for my people Israel, and I will plant them, that they may dwell in a place of their own. It ain't nothing like having a place of your own, is it? Ain't nothing like your own. And they shall move no more, neither shall the children of wickedness afflict them anymore, as before time. Now, see, this is what you got to ask the Jewish community. When did people afflict y'all? When did you go? You better not try to use that little 11-year stint in history as your evidence, okay? 11 years. We can narrow that down in days. Come on with that nonsense. Y'all people been going through it for thousands of years, and a lot of them thousands of years you all been right there at the behest of it. So don't come with that. Some people are always trying to minimize your trial and tribulation in order to bring up their own. And since the time that I've commanded judges to be over my people Israel, I have caused you to rest from all thine enemies also. And Yahweh telleth thee that he will make thee an house. And when thy days be fulfilled, thou shalt sleep with thy fathers. You hear what he's telling me? And I will set up thy seed after thee, which shall proceed out of thine own bowels. Now look, this is a dual language prophecy. Because not only is he talking about Solomon coming behind him, but he's also talking about Yahshua. Are you hearing me? I will set up thy seed after thee, which shall proceed out of thy bowels, and I will establish his kingdom. He shall build an house for my name. See, you can't build the house that Yahweh wants. Only Yahshua can do it, the way Yahweh wants it done. He shall build an house for my name, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. Did Solomon's kingdom last forever?
Yes, sir.
All right. I will be his father, and he shall be my son. If he commit iniquity, I will chasten him with the rod of men, and with the stripes of the children of men. But my mercy shall not depart away from him, as I took it from Shaul, whom I put away before thee. And thine house and thy kingdom shall be established forever. Look, before thee. And thy throne shall be established forever. You see where the covenant starts? Isn't King David sitting on the same throne that Shaul sat on? But in ignominy, he took it away from him, so it ain't named the throne of Shaul. It's a covenant. It's a friendship. It's a familiar thing. It's a family affair. He named it the house of David. Are you getting this? So he says, thine house and thy kingdom should be established where? Forever. Where? Before thee. So notice now, everybody else came after David, even Yahshua, but he didn't set the kingdom up. You understand? He's got to come. He's got to engineer Armageddon, got to destroy all of them, and got to reinstate that throne, got to build that house for Yahweh. By the time David resurrects and gets up, the throne is ever before you, forever and ever. That's a serious promise, man. Yahweh promised that to one little man, and his family, and out of all his little family comes you, every one of you. And we sitting around here right now, mad, because they go off and meet in, where they met at? Geneva, Switzerland. Don't nobody care. What did they accomplish? Did they accomplish anything? You stop attacking our computer system here in America. Did he do that? No, he ain't even bring it up according to what they say in public report. I don't know why they lying to you and I. Some of them news reporters that were there that saw what took place, they say they didn't even discuss that. You hear what I'm saying? Then don't make me go get the paper and bring it. I'll show you all. See, this is why I get on us about the internet. Anything on the internet, we believe. George, remember the TV commercial? George and Martha Washington had a Dodge Charger and a Dodge Caravan. And she liked her Caravan. Or at least that's what it says on the internet. Now the man was mocking the people who pull all the information off the internet, because a bunch of devils and a bunch of buffoons that invented it down at the Pentagon and the CIA and all them other little alphabet groups control information. But you see, the beauty of a book, the beauty of a scroll, the beauty of a Torah, it don't take no battery to run it. Can't nobody hack it. The only way they could hack the word of Yahweh before they invented the computer, they had to translate the book. If you look at the definitive of translate, translate means to change. You hear me? That's why King James had his own version. He translated it and he changed it. So now, you know us, we come along, we change history too. So now we want to make King James be black. All right, what you get out of it if he was? History still is what it is, okay? We like to just celebrate stuff now. They didn't change and make everybody black. Come on, y'all. They didn't make everybody white. Come on now. Give some of them people credit for the stuff that they did. These people invented guns and bombs and bullets and different things. Yeah. Some of us say, well, the black man invented the bullet. Now, I'm going with Paul Mooney. Paul Mooney said that the black man made the toilet and he made it white on purpose, but I'm going with that one. So remember, this kingdom has to be established right before David, who will be with Yahweh forever. People talk about King David being such a bad man and all this, but he's going to be in the kingdom and going to see his throne. The work that started with him, going to see it right before his eyes forever. Isn't that amazing? You want to be there to be a partaker of it as well. One of the most beautiful things about the kingdom age that we have to really stress to Yahweh's people, there will be no jealousy, no power struggles, no arguments, no debates. All that have overcome in this world and in this lifetime. Yahweh got the answers and solutions to every problem so that there will be no problems and no occurrences in that kingdom age. The least that's going to pop up is at the end of the age when the devil rises up. And Yahshua has to have an oh boy moment. Oh boy, here we go with this again. You understand what I'm saying? Because you got to have him destroyed at the end. I mentioned to the people the other day, I said this on social media. I'm trying to get the people to understand. We keep calling these people the devil. They rule the world. They do evil. They do all this stuff to us. They're in the Illuminati and all this. We understand they're all their secret society. Okay, then doesn't that tell you that they got something on their side? Doesn't that tell you they got some help? So if they have some help, like a child now that's in trouble, most little children, when you want mom for the healing, soothing dynamics of life. But when the trouble starts showing up, you kind of like want to get dad, now don't you? You want some strength, don't you? Tell the truth, you want some strength. So you need a little help. They do everything to you. Don't you think it's time to call on your help? Go get your father. Ain't that how you do it? So we don't go get no help. We just keep begging them. They're not going to change. They're not going to do it. But what they don't like about you is when you know they're not going to change and they're not going to do it and you don't care to make them. That's what they don't like. Because they realize this one knows something. Are y'all hearing me? You got to really understand this. You got to really get into Yahweh's word to understand the world, because otherwise you'll be out here just as upset with them. Your blood pressure will be through the roof. You'll be so upset, wanting to march and protest, all this. How does marching and protesting deliver you from anything? Most of the time, don't nobody want to hear it, no way. I saw the funniest thing happen one time, man, and this is a true story. Brothers and sisters went out to organize protest. They went down City Hall years ago and was going to march and protest. But City Hall and the council reps and all the meetings, they tend to leave between 3:30 and 4. So now the people down there protesting City Hall at 6 o'clock in the evening. Janitor come out with the headbuds on and what's happening? He was in there mopping and cleaning the floor, jamming. He didn't know people was out there fussing at an empty building. But he came out, took his, back then they had to walk. When he took it out, he said, what's that? What's going on? So, man, they down here protesting. He said, man, they left at 4 o'clock. They ain't even do no extra meetings and stuff today. He said, man, they been gone. And it was from that moment onward that I learned protesting downtown. At the end of see, that's a fake protest. That ain't even no revolution. See, if you mad at look at the pictures from the 1960s when our children were leaving school. You see them children that protested and just got there. I call them children. Those elders, they in their 70s and 80s. They left school at 15, 16 years old, walked out and went and got in protest lines. And the school withheld their diplomas. And just last week, the school honored them and gave all of them their diplomas. You just giving it to them. You hear what I'm saying? See, that's protest. Protesting disrupts things. Protesting is not always going to be peaceful. Israel protested Jericho. You hear me? They ain't out there with no signs. Hey, we hope y'all will get you down Jericho. They marched around the wall 7 times. On the 7th trip around, the walls came tumbling down. That is a protest. That's the only form of protest you need. You hear what I say? All that other marching, no justice, no peace. Well, before you marched, you had no justice. Before you marched, you had no peace. So why did you have to march to simply announce that? You ain't got it no way, right? Hey man, what you eating? Nothing. Want to go to the store and buy some more of it? Sure. You sitting there, you're not eating. The man asks, what you eating? You say nothing. You want some more of it? And your only answer is sure. Why not? Come on, man. They love the devil because he doesn't give them anything. They hate Yahweh because he gave you liberation, freedom, independence, his Torah. He gave you the keys to salvation. We hate him so bad, we don't want to walk up in his way. And that's really sad. You hear what I say? I pray y'all really be with us as Israel and his people as well, because when the feast days of Yah come, you want that chance to get out and to stretch on out and relax yourself. The way that the Torah of Yah commands that you do. You're cooped up all over this earth in these inner cities and all the different places. Sometimes it really does hurt you to look up and see the Gentile got all the stuff of the world already, and you just can't even celebrate peacefully sometimes because you got to go to somebody else's facilities and land and rent their facilities or get on their land just to keep the feast. Because Yahweh's little people, the majority of Israel, we're the working poor. Let's be clear. You work, you have your funds or what have you. You all right. You think you're doing well in your neighborhood, right? The reality is you're the working poor. Okay, if you can't afford, just take off, take vacation anytime you want to, and you ain't got to get nobody permission. Then you are the working poor. Okay, let's keep that in mind. We need people. I don't know about you, brother. I'm all right. Don't come to me with that crap. You can't take a vacation and be gone for 3 weeks and then come back. So you know what, man? I need another one. Come on, let's go. You can't do that. Don't act like you got it going on like that. You are the working poor. You just worked. You got a position, may pay you more than this poor man here getting. He may get paid more than this poor man here get. All of that. Come on. Israel don't own things like that in record-breaking numbers around the world. Okay? If we did, we'd truly be keeping the Torah of Yah far greater and far better than what we are. We'd be printing it out. We'd go back over all the mistakes and deliberate errors and removals. We'd put all this stuff back like we ought to. We'd implement it. It would be the law of our land. It would be so beautiful. Ain't nobody going to be talking about no religion because everybody will be living the same way. Does that make sense? Right now, we ain't dealing with it. So keep in mind, Isaiah 42, I'm not going to read this, but Isaiah 42, verses 1 through 9 describes Yahshua and his character because he is Yahweh's special servant. He is an Ibed, not a slave. He is a special servant. He is the Bakir of Yah, or the elect. He will come and Yah's own nefesh. He says here now, my soul delights in him. Okay? He will have my ruach upon him. This is what we got to understand about him being Yahweh's special servant. And he shall bring forth misfat to the judges, to the nations, my misfat, my judgment. He'll bring it forth. So that declares him as the special servant of Yahweh, who has the sole right to bring judgment upon the whole earth. And Yahweh's people have to calm down now and really look at it. Especially if you don't do anything today, you go back and you read real carefully Isaiah 24, because remember now, that earth was shut down. Nobody couldn't come and go as they pleased. They mourned. They were sad over different things. There's such loss. A whole new industry has emerged because of COVID-19. There's an industry that emerged to serve people who suffer from COVID fatigue. You hear what I'm saying? A whole new industry has emerged. COVID fatigue. People been in the house for so long, isolated, what's the word that they use? Self-quarantine. People start to go a little crazy. So now a whole segment, a new job industry has emerged because people need counseling now. Isn't that amazing? COVID fatigue is what it's called. Just look it up. Whole new industry. Can you imagine? Check this out. What psychiatrist could your Cove have gone through? They're out there wrestling with an angel till the breaking of the day. Angels, come on now, let me go. I got to go. The sun is coming up. Come on with this. Enough of this wrestling. His leg get pulled out of joint. He hobbled on down there. I got to get to me a doctor. He get to the doctor, and doctor said, well, look, I'm going to write you this prescription here. I'm going to get you some Xanax, a little morphine, get you a little, give me one more, fentanyl, and you take this, you'll be all right. But now he home, and he's having flashbacks, and he's suffering from having wrestled with an angel. Or was it an angel? Or was he hallucinating? Or was he just going crazy? See what I'm saying? There was no psychiatrist. There was no industry. But when you create specific problems, now you create a whole new industry, a whole new cadre for people to get paid. So now there is a job in existence now, COVID fatigue counselors, whereas it didn't even exist 18 months ago. So you out training people now how to counsel people who say they suffering from COVID fatigue. Say, well, what are the symptoms? Well, hell, the symptoms could be any damn thing you want it to be. Did you miss your mother? Yeah, you know, I did. Well, never mind. In fact, she's been dead for 22 years. Did you miss her? Yeah, I missed her. Well, that's a symptom. I said, well, we had a blackout one night and I stumped my toe. Did it hurt? Yeah, it hurt. That's a symptom. You understand? This is the stupid stuff that's happening. The devil is a liar, and he lies from every conceivable angle. Sometimes stuff you and I ain't even thinking about. As funny as this may sound, tell me I'm lying. It's true. A whole new industry. Look, brothers and sisters go out and use drugs, and they declare a certain amount in which to put the drug in. So now somebody come out, you know, you can make these empty gelatin capsules, and they can squeeze just that much of that illegal drug in them, and they won't die. They can even charge $20. Where are the prices coming from if all this illegal drugs is underground? How does there be a universal standard set? Nationwide, the pills are all the same size. They all cost $20. Where's this standard coming from if somebody ain't creating this problem and solution? Am I making sense? So come on, Israel. Now somebody wants the whole world to receive a mark. How you going to do it? Well, get them all sick. Tell them they're sick. And tell them they're going to keep getting sicker till they get the shot. And anybody that ain't got it, tell them, well, we still want you to wear a mask in public. It done died down because y'all done stopped spraying. That's all there is to that. Now you plotting and planning, you'll go back to spraying again, and more and more people will get sick. Pray against them, y'all. Better pray that y'all would drop some of these demons. You need some of them removed. The days are going to get worse no matter what. But sometimes just to get that reprieve out of Yahweh that you may move on to the next day till you get strengthened, you got to ask Yahweh to move against some of these people as devils. You cannot underestimate them. But I do not advocate that Israel go out and take up arms and start trying to overthrow them. That's not Yahweh's plan. That's not his will. You got to calm down now, okay? They'll call me militant. I ain't got no militia behind me. But that's what they'll say. Because you talk like you're not afraid. And yet it will frighten them so bad. When they send their boys to Alabama, they'll come 100 strong. They'll seal off your whole block. 99 of them. And they all after one man. And the man come out and... So y'all, you could have knocked on the door and asked for me. You understand? This stuff happens. Didn't the king send all his warriors after Elijah the prophet? Sent all of them down. Sent the whole army down there to get the man. Y'all blinded the whole army. And here the man that you went down there to get had to lead your army back to you. Isn't that amazing? And that's how Yahweh fights. See what I'm saying? Philistines troubling Yahweh's people until Yahweh get at them. Yahweh got a sense of humor too. He smote the men first with hemorrhoids. I'm going to be blunt with this in case you don't know. Hemorrhoids maketh thou butted cheeks hurt. If that ain't enough, you may not even be scared of mice, but when they jumping and bucking and moving around, you try to get out of his way too. You might be trying to stop it, but he might be trying to get up your pants leg to hide. So now, whether you're afraid or not, you got him and you moving and jumping and bucking. That's pain and embarrassment. That's how Yahweh did the Philistines as they went against Israel. See, who teaches like Yahweh? Who's able to make war with him? They stand around telling me who's going to make war with the beast. Who's going to make war with Yahweh and win? No one. Final note. Judgment in earth now goes unmentioned by men who claim they're preachers because Yahweh hasn't sent them. That's why don't nobody preach these judgment messages. That's why they're not laying this stuff out. That's why they're not opening their eyes. They can't see because they don't have Yahweh's message for this generation. Hebrews, real quick, chapter 5. I'm going to start winding this down. See if I can beat the dear sisters. If not, well, I shouldn't have said that, and then they're going to start rushing. But Hebrews chapter 5. I want you to hear this. This is the way Yahweh set the order. Notice, this is talking to us. For every high priest taken among men is ordained for men in the things pertaining to Yahweh. See how it works? You're ordained for men in things that pertain to Yahweh, that he may offer both gifts and sacrifices for sins. That's your job, men of the priesthood. You don't panic in the midst of facing danger. You offer up the sacrifice. You pray like you ought to pray. You do the thing. The priesthood cannot get panicky or stupefied. I don't know what to do. This is amazing. Who can have compassion on the ignorant. Sometimes you're going to run across people that don't know, and you therefore have to have some compassion on them, okay? And on them that are out of the way. Sometimes people, they don't know. They're just talking, running their mouth. They're just not in proper standing. For that he himself also is compassed with infirmity. Brother told me that, man, I didn't think you would get sick by nothing like that. Yeah, see, I'm supposed to be Superman. But you hear the word of Yahweh say, compassed also with infirmity. You hear me? People telling me, calling me, Elder John, I hear you on the channel. You sounding strong. You back to your old self. You just stand up. Well, okay. But have you been listening to the new self? Right. Because Yahweh blessed me to get up and do something. And people are offended by it of late, but I'm dead serious. I got up from what I experienced a different person. I got up different. And I found, man, that I see things a little different now. And I thank Yahweh for it. And I'm far more serious now on specific things. Even if I don't talk to everybody about it, I look at certain stuff far more different now. I still have yet to preach that and expose that to everybody the way that Yah commands. When he says so, I'll go and do just that. But it says here, he himself is compassed with infirmity. And by reason hereof, he ought, as for the people, so also for himself, to offer for sins. Which is exactly what I did when we were shut down. I came here and I knelt before Abba Yahweh and prayed, as well as at home, and carried out my priestly duties. And I did not fail to know that Yahweh was going to deliver me. I didn't sit around wondering. I knew that I had to go through it to get through it. See, a lot of people, they want to talk to you and teach you and show you things that they lack the experience in. You hear what I'm saying? See, I can't go out. Brother told me this years ago, and I got on his case. So, well, the easiest way to learn something is to teach it. So I said, it's got to be the dumbest thing I ever heard. And of course, the brother got offended, but it was. We were young then. We had put a curriculum together for masonry, cement finishing, for bricklaying, carpentry. We were teaching these things. But I felt like I was not properly prepared to teach it. I wanted some more experience under my belt. I did that in the assemblies of Yahweh. My family that know me well can tell you all, I didn't run and rush trying to teach anything that I learned. Oh, John could teach something on Shabbat. I wasn't running discussing it with you on Sunday. I held that stuff. And he had to kind of like put a little foot on me to make me get out there and preach, even though he said, you've been ready, you just don't know it. So I wasn't rushing to go do something. I wanted to make certain Yahweh was with me, because if you notice, that's what the apostles had to do. You don't go running to do this and you ain't got it. So when the brother said the easiest way to learn something is to teach it, I say that's dumb, because how can you teach what you've never learned? I ain't sent no rocket to the moon. So how can I go down to NASA and say, look here, check this out, Jack. This is how you get it up to the moon. And we're going to do this, that, and the other. It ain't going to work. So now, and by reason hereof, he ought for the people, so also for himself, offer sins. When you pray, pray proper. And no man taketh this honor unto himself, but he that is called of Yahweh, as was Aaron. See how it goes? This is why Israel is in trouble today. So many men are out preaching now, taking it upon themselves. Listen, y'all, I'm not disrespecting them, but I'm testifying to what I know. The book says, talk what you do know, testify that what you've seen. So many brothers have come here and left here because I wouldn't put them up to preach. But you see weaknesses and failures in things. Yahweh gets on us about things that we have to do and should not have left undone. You can't fail in your home and be a king in his sanctuary. You can't. You can't fail in the sanctuary and be a great leader among the nation. We have in a succession of steps to do this. We're not Yahshua. Yahshua talked with, and this is because that dynamic power of the Ruach was upon that baby. Let's call him a baby at this time. Young man, a lad. He could talk with the priesthood because he was from everlasting to everlasting. So when he checked them for being out of order as well as being flesh, even as a child, that type of power was upon him to do it, and he could not resist. You understand? We today, we resist the truth and want to teach it without having fully learned it. I would suggest to everybody, take your time and learn. They mocked me 2 weeks ago in class, Israel, because everybody understood I wasn't catching it. But I wasn't catching it because I was dumb. I didn't know what the man was saying. I had never been exposed to it before. And there was something even deeper, more spiritual behind it. So I couldn't catch it. And everybody was taking a delight in the fact that it looked like I was the one who was going to fail it. Well, I took 2 courses, 2 classes. I passed them both. They gave me my, I got my certificates. And I didn't even know it. They licensed me. Gave me my license. All of that. Licensed in Maryland, D.C., and Virginia. Hallelujah. And I said, hey, I didn't even know I paid attention to all that. I thought it was just Maryland. Point. They underestimated me because I learned something about learning. If you're going anywhere to learn anything, then go there and humble yourself and learn. Because there is a delight in learning. It really is. We have to really, Scripture says, except we become as a little child, you shall in no case enter into the kingdom. That's one thing about a child. If a child love you and you love them and you start teaching them, they will love to learn from you. But if we had a teacher, she was mean-spirited. Boy, she was tough, man. We couldn't learn under her in school. I won't say her name, just in case she's alive or any of her children watching this channel. But she was mean. Boy, she was tough. She was an old woman. She come in there. I won't go describing her. But anyway, she scared you to death. But you couldn't learn under her, man. You just scared of her. She was mean-spirited. Her spirit was just tough, and you couldn't learn. But she liked me. I ain't like her, but she liked me. But she leaned on me. She said, Johnson, you're one of the best I got. You're just too stupid to know it. You know this stuff. So I'm like, I'm too stupid to know it, but I know this stuff. If you really think about it, it makes sense. She was saying, you know this stuff. You're just too stupid to know that you know it because you want to do some other stuff when you really need to learn this. So I ended up in class, my Isha and her friends and others, English 4 honors. When they put honors on it, it was because you were above the normal class and they moved you all and put you off somewhere else. And my friends, you know, they was thugging, I guess you could call it, terrorizing school. They were laughing like, how you get in honors class? I'm like, I don't know, man. I keep telling them it's a mistake. And I'm bringing all this up because you all, as Yahweh's children, learning on a channel under a messenger, studying in a sanctuary under a messenger, wherever you are, if Yahweh Baruch you with somebody that's striving in the Torah, you're in Hebrew 101 honors. You're honor students. And though, like the Apostle Paul said, Peter said about him, there's some things in his messages and in his writings that are hard to be understood. Sometimes you don't get it on the first time out. You don't quite pick it up. You don't quite know and understand. It's hard to catch it. But you gotta Apply yourself. They beat me. But when you apply yourself, you got it made. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
So now, remember what he said. No man takes this honor unto himself, but he that was called of Yahweh, as was Aaron. Okay? So when you call, you got to do what the scripture says. You got to wait on your calling. Make sure that your calling and your election are sure. He said this to the Hebrews, warning us, don't get out of hand. Take your time. Let's go to Romans 12 real quick. I want you to see what he says to the Romans when he wrote this letter to the white folks up there in Europe. Romans 12. I'm going to do this as quick as I can. Now, Romans 12:3. For I say, through the unmerited favor given unto me, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think. This is that mind they got. But to think soberly, according as Yahweh have dealt to every man the measure of faith. Some people have a little more faith than others. That don't make you any better, but some people have more faith than others, okay? For as we have many members in one body, and all members have not the same office, do your toes do the same things that your ears do? And if by chance they do, after this, you'll meet me in the back. I want to talk to you. Now y'all looking at me like y'all were thinking it too. My toes do the same thing as my ears. It's a no-brainer. Okay? So we, being many, are one body in Hamashiach, and every one member have one of another. Having then gifts differing according to the unmerited favor that is given to us, whether prophecy, let us prophesy according to the proportion of faith. Don't come prophesying to me after the fact. See, remember again, everybody's a prophet after the fact. You say, boy, I knew you was going to win the lottery. I knew that last week. You all shut up. If you knew I was going to win it last week, you should have told me 4 days in advance that I could have played the numbers that day too. Numbers is a bad example, but I'm just something stupid. You get the point. So if you have the gift of prophecy, he said, let us wait on prophecy according to the proportion of our faith. Or ministry, let us wait on our ministering. Or he that teacheth, on teaching. Or he that exalteth, on exaltation. But he that giveth, let him do it with simplicity. He that ruleth, with diligence. He that showeth mercy, with cheerfulness. Let love be without dissimulation. People love one another, but yeah, I love you dearly, but you know, come on. Don't be tearing one another apart. Abhor that which is evil. Cleave to that which is good. Be kindly affectioned one to another with brotherly love, in honor, preferring one another. See how it works out? Oh, well, there's not enough to go around. Well, here, you take my plate. You go, I'll eat when I get home. You know, you understand? Oh, that chair's too hard. Here, take this chair. This chair got a better pillow than mine. In honor, preferring one another. You hear what I'm saying? That's what he told the nations to do. He goes further. Romans 10 again. 14. How shall they call on him in whom they have not believed? So now these nations haven't believed on Yahweh. How y'all going to take command of his name? And then command of his people too. As if he don't know who his children are. And how shall they believe in him of whom they have not heard? And how shall they hear without a preacher? And how shall they preach except they be sent? Yahweh got to send his messengers. And he send the messengers to preach, to teach, to do whatever. They're going to have it all down pat. That's why Yahweh spoke to us about our father Abraham as a real father. He said, for I know him, that he will instruct his children and his children's children behind him. He knew Abraham was going to tell them the truth. So no father in Yahweh should ever preach and teach, and you laying all this out for the world. Get the first thing Yahweh wants saved. Get it in order. What is that? Your own house. The whole house. You understand? That's what Yahweh wants us to get first. He tells us about the deacons, the ministers, the priesthood, children in subjection with all gravity. Now, if you think about gravity, this is gravity. Real slick. Real simple. Gravity. It went down, didn't it?
That's right.
Gravity. Sit them down. Teach them. That's what he meant by it, right? So the whole world today is struggling now, simply because Israel got all these ministers and all these teachers, but they will not teach us properly. As it says in the book of Hebrews, I got to go back to this and I am officially done. Let's go back to the book of Hebrews, because see, our brothers are out here in the world, meaning well, but having not according to the righteousness of Yahweh. We failed to teach the people properly because we didn't wait on Yahweh. Verse 12. Nope, I'm going to start at 7. Where did I leave off when I start that? I left off at verse 4. Let's pick up at 5. So also Messiah glorified not himself to be made an high priest, but he that said unto him, You are my son, today have I begotten you. He says also in another place, You are a priest forever, after the order of Melchizedek. In other words, Yahweh was letting them know, I called you, I established this, you're going to do what I say do. Who in the days of his flesh, when he offered up prayers and supplication with strong crying and tears unto him that was able to save him from death, and was heard in that he feared. Though he was a son, yet he learned obedience by the things which he suffered. See, some people ain't even suffered nothing, and they running already. Nah, if you ain't suffered nothing when the trial and tribulation hit, how you gonna really stand if you ain't got the strength and experience to know what to go through? Make sense? Going further. And being made perfect, he became the author of eternal salvation unto all them that obey him. Make sense? Called of Yahweh and high priest after the order of Melchizedek. Remember it says Melchizedek, no father, no mother, no ending of days, no beginning of days. Now, of whom we have many things to say and hard to be uttered, seeing you are dull of hearing. A lot of times people are hard of hearing. They cannot hear what you say. That's why y'all should ask, why do you not understand my words? Said it is even because you can. Why do you not understand my speech? Said it is even because you cannot hear my words. It is a spiritual condition. It is, what did I say? Stupidity. And I'm not mocking people with stupidity. It is a spiritual condition. It is an evil spirit that gets upon a person and it refuses to allow them the right to learn, while subtly, in a very comedic sense, it makes them mock the truth. So now they can't receive it because the spirit of stupidity is upon them. So now he's telling them, I got so much to tell you about Yahshua, but you are so hard-headed. You cannot hear. You cannot learn. He says, of whom we have many things to say and hard to be uttered, seeing you are dull of hearing. For when the time you ought to be teachers, you have need that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of Yahweh. And I'll become such as have need of milk and not of strong meat. There's some tough, deep things in Yahweh's word. It's the meat of Yahweh's word. A lot of times people still on the bottle. They think they're ready for the steak. Question. What are the first principles of the oracles of Yahweh? What are the first principles of the oracles of Yahweh? And when we don't know what they are, we got a lot of learning to do. I passed that test earlier in the week. Wasn't understanding the teachers I was learning under. I wasn't comprehending it last week or this week. But at every setting, Yahweh baruched me to be able to pull it together because there was a lesson to be learned. Everything that I needed on the test, the teachers had gone over it. And as the stuff began to come to my mind as I was taking the test, I was recalling everything the man would say. Oh yeah, he said this, that's that answer. He said that, that's that answer. I began to recall it. So when we say we know Yahweh, and we don't know what the principles of the oracles of Yahweh are, gotcha. We have need to be taught in order to recall it. I'm making sense? A lot of times people hear a thing and they forget as soon as you teach it. Brother here used to come here a lot of times. He couldn't wait till I finished the sermon. As soon as I finished, he started teaching. But you wouldn't even allow what was taught for the day to marinate because you had something you had to get off. What's the principles of the day? What did you take out of the Shabbat for the day? Because Yahweh don't send messengers just to stand there and talk. So Yisrael, it is on that note, and it is with that mystery, I conclude by saying, Yahweh's judgment is on the whole earth. And we're witnessing it unfold whether we're paying attention or not. But I humbly suggest to you all, let's draw closer to each other and more importantly to Yahweh and Yahshua that we might be saved. Yisrael, let us stand. Abba Yahweh, we come to you this day as we thank you for the blessedness of our life, our health and strength, for the activity of our limbs, for the many wonderful things that you've done for us. We thank you, Abba Yahweh, for family and friends, both far and near, those that have supported us as we seek to set forth your word. We thank you for them, that you bless their households, their families, their health, their strength, all that they need and stand in need of, Abba Yahweh. We know that you know more about it than we're capable of asking and even uttering out of our mouths. Remember your people, the children of Israel, wherever we are scattered, both far and near, throughout the face of this entire earth. Touch our hearts and our minds. Give us a heart of meekness, more so of love and honor towards each other, so that as we meet one another face to face, wherever we are, break down the walls of partition between us, the racial hostility, the tension, the animosity, whatsoever it may be, Abba Yahweh, that is not pleasing and acceptable in your sight. We ask you that you attack it with the righteous power of your mighty hand and stand us up as the nation in the earth that you said would be an exceeding great army. Bless us, Abba Yah, from front to back, from beginning to end, from top to bottom, so that at the day of thine appearing, we're able to hear you say, well done, my tongue and my faithful servants. This blessing we ask, Abba Yah, in the mighty name of Yahshua we pray. And we simply total you. Hallelujah, Yahweh.
Hallelujah.
Happy Shabbat to you all, Yisrael.